Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Halftime underway on a Friday, May 1st, May Day, I guess. Not the start of spring, certainly not the start of summer, but it's the start of the last month of school for a lot of people who have kids, and the last month of the regular season for college baseball. Of course, playoffs are really starting to charge up in the NBA, and lots to get to. It's halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson in Fayetteville, Matt Jones in the ESPN Arkansas studios right there with the unit. Matt, you got Arkansas and Ole Miss baseball today, and as far as I'm concerned, look, there's always going to be big games no matter what, but because the Hogs this year don't play LSU, don't play Texas, until maybe they face them in the SEC tournament or maybe in a super regional if you get that far. This is the biggest rivalry for Arkansas baseball. So, and it makes sense. Both teams are tied in the standings. The Hogs have been the more dominant team of late. These are two head coaches in Mike Bianco and Dave Van Horn that have gone up against each other more so than any other set of coaches potentially in the history of the SEC. So this is a rivalry week to start the month of May, man. I think everybody around here is really fired up about it. If maybe not, I don't know if I could use the word optimistic, cautiously optimistic that the Hogs can go out and get another series win. But a rival is a rival, and you know what that means. You go out, you play your absolute hardest.
Yeah, happy May. Let's go baseball. Who's going to throw out the first pitch?
Dude,
They don't do that. Do they throw out a first pitch for every game?
Yeah, absolutely they do. In fact, last week for the Mizzou series, the Tigers even had ceremonial first pitches for all three games, and the first two.
Did they make the Razorback fans stand up and look the other way? You know, it's like you're not allowed to get our souvenirs. Don't watch the first pitch.
Right. That's right. Yeah, and your Coke costs twice the amount that it'll cost the Mizzou fans, too.
You got to get a better dealer.
No kidding. The insurance executives that threw out the ceremony of first pitch for Thursday and Friday's game was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. You can do the math if you figure out if it's insurance executives and it's, they called it the Battle Line rivalry there in Columbia. I don't think we call it that for baseball here, but they did there. So the two executives, the one on Thursday, then the one on Friday, both of them did really something you usually aren't supposed to do, which is go to the top of the mound for the ceremony of first pitch. If you do that, you have to make sure you throw it to the catcher. The first insurance executive threw 60 feet 6 inches from the pitcher's rubber to home plate. I think he threw it about 45 feet. The second executive, this was hilarious. He goes up on the mound and he acts like he's going to be a big league pitcher. You ever see when the guys, were showing the catcher what it is he's going to throw him? There's little hand motions for a fastball or a changeup or a curveball. He goes up there and he makes the motion that he's about to throw a fastball. And then he makes this big deal of this delivery and throws a pitch that's 20 feet above anybody's head, all the way to the backstop. The next day, the last day of the series, the only game that the Mizzou Tigers won in the series, they had a bunch of their alumni at the game, and a former Mizzou pitcher took his little kid up on the mound to throw the ceremonial first pitch. It was the actual adult who threw it, and you know what he did? He just laid it right down the middle. Just like a guy that throws a baseball would know how to do. But I don't know who's throwing out the ceremonial first pitch today. I just know that the first real pitch will be thrown by Hunter Dietz. And there was a game yesterday with Vanderbilt and Alabama. It was pretty close to a must-win game for Vanderbilt. They're in this really weird situation, Matt, where they legitimately could end up with close to a 500 SEC record, but still miss out on an NCAA regional because of how many teams are in the league now, and you miss a lot of the teams and you don't play them. And so if you suffer non-conference losses to teams that are going to drag you down, you might not have that schedule that automatically buoys your RPI. Vanderbilt is in that situation, and they lost one yesterday on a walk-off homer that they kind of had to win. They really had to win it. So it's push come to shove time now. Every loss feels like 5 losses, and every win makes you feel that you're that close to, like taking a step to hosting or that you're figuring things out. So I guess a little nervous in some cases for some teams that don't think they figured it out. And I think Ole Miss and Arkansas would be two of those teams.
Was Ole Miss going to host? Is it kind of
they're in a position where they could?
They could take care of some business.
They're definitely in a position where they could, but they're also, I think what I saw, their RPI was 14. So that puts them in a place where they need to probably win more games to get into the top 8, and they actually have to win more games to stay maybe in what the top 16 is. Arkansas has to just win games to get to the top 16 in order to post. So I don't know if that's necessarily what it's about for the next few weeks. I just think you want to see a team that goes out and plays whatever the closest that they can play to clean baseball. Because if you do that, normally you're going to win a game, especially if you're a Razorback. That's sort of the way that this team has won games for a long time, is by playing clean baseball in the field, throwing strikes, and if they do that these next 3 games, I think they're going to do really well. There's so much focus on the Ole Miss, like their power hitting, the idea that they hit a lot of home runs. It's a pretty good pitching staff. They're dealing with injuries right now. Not the pitching staff necessarily, but their position players. The Hogs are too. I did hear really good news about Camden Kojel's ankle. He had to come out of the Wednesday game after getting tagged out at home, and it looked like he was limping a little bit. And I tell you what, Camden was still the last guy on the field after the autographs were being signed. He was playing around with Dave Van Horn's grandchildren, so he looked fine, and he is fine. He's going to be out there, and he won't be any worse for the wear. Found out yesterday, though, when I look on the availability report, that Reese Robinette is out for the series. He will not be available for the series. When you look at availability reports, it doesn't have anything to do with to what degree somebody may be hurt. There's a couple of players for Ole Miss that are not on that availability report, but they're not 100%. Hayden Federico, who is, I remember him as a leadoff hitter last year, and the catcher, Austin Fawley. Federico's dealing with a quad injury, and he only was able to get in for a pinch hit Tuesday in their Governor's Cup game. From what I was reading, he didn't look good at all. But he's not on that availability report, so maybe he's available just to pinch hit. But that's one of the top hitters for Ole Miss that probably, well, he won't be at 100%, that's for sure. And he may not even be able to start. He's their leading hitter in the SEC. The other guy is Fawley. He's their catcher. He's one of the best defensive catchers in the nation. And he dealt with a knee injury that caused him to have to DH the last couple of games. So that's pretty big. You could end up with playing an Ole Miss team that doesn't have their top hitter in the league, or if they don't, if he can play, he's going to be limited. He won't be able to play in the field. And a catcher who might have to be relegated to DH, which means they throw another catcher in there, which is Colin Reuter. And when he caught after the injury to Fawley last week, the next thing that happened were a couple of passed balls. So, and what Arkansas loses with Reese Robinette more than anything. Now, Reese will hit you a pretty clutch double every once in a while, but his thing is being a really good first baseman. So that'll put a little pressure on Carter Rutenbar, who will have to play first base for this series. And I tell you, Carter's learning on the fly 3 positions. He actually looks like a pretty good corner outfielder now, both in left field and right field, much more comfortable. I think first base is a little bit of a different animal to learn on the fly. And I'm not saying that he's not confident in it. We just haven't seen him play that position as much. But you know what? You're going to see him play first base for the next 3 days.
Yeah, you think the team's better now than they were a month ago? Or about the same?
No, I do think – I think they're a little better than a month ago because roles have I wouldn't say that you're like necessarily 100% pleased with some of the roles in terms of pitching, but I do feel a little bit more confident about getting better starting pitching, specifically from Dietz as your ace guy and then Gibbler the second game. And then the third game still is turned into a wild card, but they're in a better position because they are getting more innings from starting pitchers. There's not as much pressure on the bullpen, although there still is. And so I do think that they're in a better position than a month ago. But I don't know if it gets any better than this because, another thing that was there on the availability report, Matt, is that Carson Wiggins is out. So there's an official, sort of a there's no announcement that goes along with it. It's just that's where he's been all season long. But
I was going to say, has he pitched yet this year?
No.
Yeah.
No, it was a little, I guess it was a little more than a year ago that the injury occurred. And all he's been doing is throwing bullpens and a little bit of live hitting, and the coaches have said the guy looks amazing. So if he – remember, David even told me, and I brought it up on the show, that he was supposed to have an appointment on Monday, And if he's not available for this series, and he wasn't on the lineup card for the game against Northwestern State, then he must have not been cleared he must have not been cleared. Otherwise, he would have been cleared. And that does put some more pressure on the bullpen, because they need a right-handed pitcher to step up. Hopefully sometime this weekend, a guy like Mark Brissy or Cooper Dawson, either one of those two. I think Dawson top of the list. We'll see if that happens. Anyway, there's like 11 minutes on the start of this baseball series. You can tell I'm a little bit fired up about it too, because when Arkansas and Ole Miss get together on the baseball diamond, even though the Hogs have been the dominant team in recent memory, you go back to the 2019 season, that's the last time the Hogs lost a regular season series to Ole Miss. Now, the Rebels did win a series. It wasn't really a series, but they took 2 out of 3 from Arkansas in Omaha, as you're probably aware, in 2022. But every regular season series in the last, well, I guess there wasn't one in 2020, but since 21 has been Arkansas, including a heartbreaker last year for Ole Miss. So they got a few of those guys that were part of that team last year, I think more than the Hogs do, and they'll be certainly looking for revenge here on Arkansas's home field. Halftime for a Friday, we'll have Neil Atkinson joining us in hour 3. Will be James Teague from the Teague Law Firm, former Arkansas pitcher, about an hour from right now. And when we come back, we'll dig into college basketball with Aaron Torres. This was a really interesting week, not just for college basketball, but specifically for fans of Arkansas, Kentucky, and Louisville, and Kansas. And we'll touch on some of that with Aaron after the break. Stay with us.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they love the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet.
Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam.
They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with the free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good feet, good life.
1, 2, 3, 4. Celebrate another day of living. I just want to celebrate another day of living. Put my faith in the people, but the people let me down. So I turn the other way.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Now let's get back to Halftime with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Arkansas football legend Matt Jones.
Oh, Aaron Torres joining us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline for a Friday morning on May the 1st. Aaron, man, this has been such an interesting week in college basketball. You know, they'll say the portal is bad for college basketball, but then the offseason just never ends, especially with stuff like what went on this last week. What'd you make of this last week?
Well, you know, Phil, I think I've said this many times, probably with you through the years, is I don't know that I could do my job the way that I do it 8, 10, 12 years ago. I mean, it's just, you know, like you said, is that we're now in May, and it's not, by the way, let's call a spade a spade. I know Arkansas fans are frustrated with some things like LSU, last time I checked, has 1 player committed for next year. Kentucky, I think, is still very much searching for a starter and an impact player this late in the process. So, you know, the portal, for all its faults, in football, it really gives us a nice 3-week window in January, and then certainly in basketball, kind of because it coincides so nicely with the end of the season, I think it really gives us about 5-6 weeks of stuff to talk about. And so there's the highs of Monday when Mika Muranen commits, and then, of course, there's the, you know, confusion's probably the right word on Obinna Ekezie. I was one that probably about 4 or 5 days ago thought, you know, it was going to take something to be an Arkansas Razorback, or, you know, it was going to take something bad for him not to be an Arkansas Razorback. I would say I don't think that's still the case, and I don't even necessarily blame Coach Cal based on some of the stuff I've heard. You know, obviously there's some stuff you can't share, but, you know, I think there's a lot of things going on around that recruitment, and I don't even blame the player. You know, this is a 17-year-old kid we're talking about. But yeah, so it's frustrating. I think if there's one saving grace, it's that I would still argue that John Calipari and Arkansas are in better shape than probably 85-90% of college basketball, even at the high major level. And I think the other saving grace is you have quite literally the greatest recruiter in the history of the sport working the sidelines. And if there's one guy that you think can maybe find an answer at the 5 spot, it is him.
Aaron, if Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond both come back, and what's your kind of thoughts on that? Arkansas is going to have 10 deep. It's going to be we're going to be one of the deepest teams in the country, a totally different team than we were last year. What's your thought? You think Billy Richmond and Malik Thomas both are Razorbacks next year?
I don't think there's enough. I don't even think Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond know if they're going to be Arkansas Razorbacks next year. My hunch would be no. I think you probably get back Billy. I don't know that you get back Malik. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a great thing. And I think the other thing that comes up is, and we talked about this last week, guys, is that I think there's always this assumption that when a guy enters the draft and thinks about coming back, that things are always going to get better and that the draft stock is going to improve and that he's going to improve his spot by 20 spots. And, unfortunately, Carter Knox learned the hard way that that's not always the case. And so I just bring it up because I don't know what Malik is going to do. And I think if he comes back, he has a chance to be one of the best players in college basketball. But even if he doesn't, I think you're in really good shape. And I do think you need somebody back. I do think you need somebody back because, going into next year with 0 players who have played in the program, so many guys, well, not 0 players, but 0 guys that have had a major impact through the years. And then beyond that, 0 players with major college basketball experience outside of the freshmen, I would worry a little bit. But yeah, I think you get one back. But again, I just, there's a reason it's called the draft process. And it's, for some people, it's a certainty. For AJ DeBonta, for Darius Acuff, it's a certainty. I think for a guy like Malik Thomas and even Billy Richmond, I think it's an uncertainty, and that's why they call it the process.
Yeah, well, I think the word could be dysfunction with some schools, and that's one thing. Said, yeah, Arkansas is in a better position than 75, 80, 85% of teams in the country. No kidding, because they've got recruits that are coming in, good recruits, number 1 recruiting class in the nation.
Phil, can I jump in on that for half a second?
Yeah.
Can I jump in on that? So, listen, nobody has, the perfect answers to all of this. I think, there are guys that are doing it at a pretty high level. But what I will say is I think when Cal has made it clear through the last couple of years he's never going to give up recruiting high school, I think kind of there's some people that roll their eyes and just, look at this old man going out of the playbook from 10, 12, 15 years ago. And what I keep saying on my show, and of course, certain people took it as a misinterpretation and, trying to make me look like a bad guy for saying it. Like, there is still value in recruiting high school if you get the right guys. And I think in some ways Cal's a genius because you go into the portal needing a piece or two as opposed to, let's not even use LSU because there was a coaching change, but whether it is Kentucky, whether it is some of these other schools, you need an entirely new roster. And the thing, and I always harp on this, guys, and I know you guys have heard me do this rant before, but we always overestimate how many real impact players there are going to be in the portal. And so if the portal works if you need a piece. The portal works if you need 2 pieces. The portal almost never works if you need a superstar. And even if you need a superstar, I mean, how many are there and what is the realistic chance of you getting them? And so I know I said this with you guys throughout the season, but, we can go back and look. There wasn't a better guard in the portal last year than Darius Acuff was. And ironically, one of the guys that you could have argued maybe would have been was Boogie Plant, who clearly Cal made the right decision in keeping Darius Acuff and recruiting Darius Acuff over Boogie Plant. That's not a knock on Boogie Plant. That's just the truth. And so I just bring it up because I think we will probably look up in 6 months and say there was no better guard in the portal than Jordan Smith Jr. There was no better wing than J.J. Andrews. I said this on my show today. I don't know how good Mika Murinen is, and I'll be honest, I've heard some of the stuff about, hard to coach and this and that. But if it hits, I am here to tell you, there are no 7-footers with international experience, super athletic, that can step out and hit a 3 that were available in the portal. I look at portal stuff every day from about the middle of March until the middle of May. There were none of those guys available. And so I just bring it because, listen, you guys are in the day-to-day of it, and I understand the fan base's frustration. It's May 1st. You don't I don't see a starting 5 on the roster. But, again, I think that Cal taken so many bullets on the high school stuff. And I think increasingly as time has gone on, he's right of like, I can lock down 3 or 4 impacts before the portal even opens. Sign me up. And I think he's ending up looking smarter and smarter for sticking with that game plan. And again, it's applicable on getting the right high school players, but the right high school players are still in most cases better than even the best players in the portal.
You know, I don't know if Razorback fans necessarily this last week were, if nervous would be the word, or disappointed or anything yet, because of the haul of the freshman class. And really, like a lot of people around Arkansas right now, and it's not just Arkansas, it's around the country, they're pointing and laughing at Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky always, some of the Kentucky fans are almost laughing at themselves and at the entire program right now because they have missed on everybody. And it's, well, they're trying to get high school recruits too. They're trying to get portal recruits. Mark Pope can't get anybody. What is going on there? Is it money, or is it coach, or is it fans? What is the deal?
You know, it's definitely not money. And to be fair to him, I do like a few pieces. I think the guards that they've gotten, I like. They have a starting 5-man, Malachi Moreno, who's testing the waters, but I will defend Mark Pope. He was probably realistically better than anyone you could have gotten in the portal. They need one more, dude. Now, why have they not gotten him? That's a fascinating question. Money is not an issue, Phil. I think we can all understand they probably don't have the budget that they did a year ago. There are still, out of 360 Division I teams, there's 345 that would kill for the budget that Mark Pope has. Listen, I was one that when he got hired, I kind of defended the recruiting track record. BYU, but they were in the WCC. They weren't in the Big 12, this and that. I mean, the guy, it's not only that he can't close on impact players. I think more concerning, he just doesn't seem to have a pulse on some of these recruitments. I mean, guys, you got jobs. Phil, you're covering baseball. I don't know how much you could follow this, but it wasn't just that they lost out on the number 1 high school player in America the other day, who is from the state of Kentucky, who is a Nike athlete, who, oh, by the way, is going to an Adidas school. The coaches were tweeting at this kid prior to the commitment, and the coaches spent the day leading the fan base on to believe that they were getting this kid. And so to me, all that shows is that they had no idea what was actually going on in this recruitment. And that is, instinct, that is intuition. And he just doesn't seem to have it with closing. I said this on my show, and if I'm going long, cut me off. But I basically, if there is a kid on a national stage that is about to recruit, or that is about to commit, and we're on the final list, but we don't have a signed piece of paper. I'm talking about a literal signed piece of paper that is binding him to my university. My coaching staff has a gag order. No tweets, no comments, no social media. Just stay off until this is official. And the fact that Kentucky had coaches tweeting at this kid, again, it just shows me that he had no pulse for how this recruitment was actually going. So there are things I like about that roster, but Bill, you're not wrong, is that they've missed on so many players in the portal this year. They missed obviously on so many kids in the high school class as well. And, I always try to be fair. I would say it about anybody is let's see what the roster looks like when the games tip off, or, once we get out of June. But like I said a minute ago, they need one, maybe two, probably one real impact player. There aren't that many out there still. And the ones that are out there, what track record do we have to believe that this guy is going to close? So to your point, Phil, it not only got toxic, but Kentucky fans are frustrated of being the butt of the joke. And, it's another conversation that we've always had. But, maybe the last guy wasn't so bad as you thought it was in the moment. So.
Hey, Aaron, and speaking of that kid from Finland that Arkansas got, what's the difference in getting an American? Because I know the rules are a little bit different for NIL and the collective. How much cheaper is it to get a Euro kid than to get a kid from the States?
First of all, the kid from Finland, Mika Murinen, I'm going to give you a pop quiz next show, Matt. I need you to spell Mika Murinen on the air because it took me about 30 tries to get it right this week. So next week,
you got to understand, AT. You got to score a bucket before I call you anything but a number. So that's how it goes.
Okay. I think he's good for at least one bucket this
Okay.
year. No, listen, the Euro stuff is fascinating, and, he's kind of a very unique player in his own right because he was in Europe, then he played in the States for a few years, then he went back to Europe, and so he was kind of just out of sight, out of mind. Listen, I said it a minute ago. I have heard the same thing that Razorbacks fans have read online, is you want to be fair to a kid, you want to be open-minded, but there is some stuff about maturity, about basketball IQ, that some of his coaches have said. But, these are professional coaches coaching professionals, and he was 17, 18 last year. From a cost perspective, I really don't know. But because, especially too with the pros, you got a potential contract buyout, this and that. Like I said, though, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but it's like, if he hits the way that he's capable of, listen, he's not going to be a 20-a-game scorer, but there just aren't that many players with that type of skill set that were available. Very talented player. Like I said, there's some personality questions, but if there's one coach that has dealt with all of that through the years, it is John Calipari. If there's one coach I trust to get the best out of this kid, and by the way, really quick, it's not just that I trust John Calipari, it's that there's going to be other five-star NBA dudes in that locker room. And I think you guys would know J.J. Andrews' profile better than I do. But if you think J.J. Andrews and Jordan Smith Jr. are going to let that kid slack and show up and talk back to the coaches, and I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying under that hypothetical, you got a bunch of pros already in that locker room, and I think that'll be the best thing for Mika Miran, that's double I, double K, and to Phil's point, the double U in the second and the last name. I don't think those guys are going to let Mika Miran get away with that.
Yeah, it's the W that I always have a little trouble with, but eventually I'll nail it. AT, we'll leave it there. Always appreciate your time and your thoughts. Thanks so much.
No problem, guys. We'll do it next week. There'll probably be something basketball-related to talk about. Thank you, guys.
Of course there will. Of course there will. It's May. I mean, it's not just March and April now. It's May and it's June, too. Halftime is brought to you by Joe's Grilling Cantina. Get over there for lunch today because Joe's Grilling Cantina every single day makes fresh from scratch salsa, queso dip, and guacamole. Of course, there's always crispy warm chips to start your meal, fajitas, enchiladas, tacos, burritos, and much more. Always an experience that you will never forget at Joe's Grilling Cantina. Great Tex-Mex and even better service at 3400 South 74th across from Harps and Fort Smith. joesfortsmith.com if you want to get a look at their menu or put an order in online. And you can get with us on halftime. Our next segment, 877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. And we're back in just a moment.
Hammers it down the left field line. Johnson will score easily.
This is halftime.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-433-8909. 800-433-8909. Again, that's 800-433-8909.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Listen up, crappie anglers. When it comes to crappie fishing, there's only one Baby Shad. The original Baby Shad, crappie fishing's #1 selling bait. Featuring a sleek back, streamlined belly, and quivering tail, that bait just won't stop moving, no matter the temps, no matter the conditions. Built for dead sticking and action-based techniques also, the original Baby Shad gets right to the point, catching slabs and filling freezers. Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leader in crappie fishing innovation.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent.
Did your vehicle get some dents and dings during the recent hailstorms? If so, you don't have to wait months to get it repaired. Evans Body Shop has appointments available now. Our on-site paintless dent repair team is ready to work for you. As always, we offer a lifetime warranty on our painted and paintless dent repair and a complimentary interior detail. Check out our Facebook and website for before and after pictures, reviews, and more. Call or come in today for your appointment and you'll see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Oh, it's looking now. Come on. Hey, there, sugar gum. Let me tell you something. Girl, I've been trying to say now. You look so sweet and you're so doggone fine. I just can't get you out of my mind. You become sweet taste in my mouth now. I want you to be my spouse so that we can live happily now in a great big roomy house, and I know you're gonna groove.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime here, 877-377-6963 to get with us anytime. Where was Aaron today? Sometimes I get a little nervous. It sounds like he's running across the highway playing Human Frogger or something. When in reality, he's just doing what anybody in Southern California is going to do, drive around on the freeway with the top down, right? Doing a sports radio interview. Maybe it was AI.
Yeah,
once
that's what I think.
It started kind of like, getting a little bit wild. Scott thought he was inside the Hadron Collider today. Although, isn't that all the way in Europe? I don't think AT will be making a phone call from Europe. California is European.
I think he was calling from the moon.
Ryan thought he might be doing an interview while fighting somebody off in his house.
Nobody's landed on the moon unit.
AT has.
Oh, AT. He's the first one, huh? You one of those Elon Musk satellite links? Yeah.
What about landing on the Zoom? I'm going back and forth on the Lewis Automotive Group text line with Chandler in Lavaca. He says Kentucky's going to be fine next year, and he might be right. He really might be right. You look at some of the guys they've got coming in. They brought in They brought in a shooting guard from Washington State. It looks like a little bit more of a defensive player who can dish it out. They brought in Justin McBride, who averaged over 15 at James Madison. James Madison was pretty good. Alex Wilkins, who was a guard at Furman, which means he was a teammate of new Razorback Cooper Bowser, averaged 18 a game. Zoom Diallo will be the point guard, and last year he dished out 4.5 assists with almost 16 points a game for Washington, and they've got a freshman recruit who is a 4-star. His name is Mason Williams, a 4-star point guard. So they do have a team. They've got 5 players. They just don't have any height. 6'8" Justin McBride is their big. They don't have a center. They don't have a small forward, but they'll put a team together. I mean, they'll probably put a team together that's going to win 8 to 10 or maybe a little better SEC games. The problem for, I think, why there's a meltdown in Kentucky is because so many people have openly and publicly said no to them. And it's been high school kids, and they're just used to getting the best high school players in the country because John Calipari was the coach. That, to me, is what the meltdown is about. Not everybody's saying no to them, Matt. They might actually put together a fairly decent team through the portal.
Yeah, Kentucky's going to be okay. There's no question about that. You start thinking about what player I try to put myself in that process. Not that I was ever good enough in basketball to play for one of those schools, but in football, when you're talking about, it's about relationships, it's about attitude, it's about feeling confident. J.J. Andrews, we had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and he talked about that he felt like Coach Cal had his back. Came to him off of his vacation and said, "Hey man, we want you." So there's a lot of that's going on, and I don't know, when you start thinking, well, is Mark Pope really good at that? I don't know. He's probably pretty good at X's and O's. You got to be at that level. I think they're all good at X's and O's, and you got to be able to recruit a little bit. Got to have a personality. You got to feel wanted. There's a lot of things that going into recruiting 5-star high-level athletes.
So then let me ask you this: as an athlete, if you were going to be looking for another place to play, is the stadium or the arena going to be the one thing you worry about? Because it's Rupp Arena. How could you not want to play in Rupp Arena?
No.
I do know you. Like, if you're looking for a football stadium, you're looking for grass first and foremost.
No, the atmosphere. So when you get to the top schools, you get to the top, and you're winning. The atmosphere takes care of itself. That's not a deal breaker. It's who are your teammates? Who are your coaches? What's their track record? What are you trying to do? Where do I fit in? There's other questions than that. I don't know. But hey, how close is it to home? How far away are you from mama? There's other things I think that go into it. But for some people, it could be. For some people, I always wanted to play for a Nike school, and then we changed to Adidas my junior year. So it was one of those deals. It was but that didn't matter. It's just I wanted a single digit number. They gave me 43 when I showed up to basketball, and I was like, we're not wearing 43. I don't go out there in a double.
Take that beard, put it on your head, and you might look like Polamalu.
Well, it was for Jodine Davenport, who was the great two-sport athlete that played. That was his number, and I get it, and it was respected. But I was like, no, I got to have a single digit. And TJ Cleveland was 5, so I got to be number 2, which is kind of the reverse of a 5. You flip it, and then the second year I played, I was able to be number 5, and 5 is my favorite number. So there's other things, but it didn't matter. But there's some things that you want.
I just think another one of the visuals of like the Tyrann Stokes commitment is that it's an Adidas school that got a Nike athlete. And your best player here, Darius Acuff, wasn't he Reebok playing for a Nike school, right? And yet Kentucky can't land. The number 1 player in the country, if I remember correctly, was born in Kentucky, has the swoosh as well, and he chooses Kansas and the Adidas school. Casey in Ozark, Matt asked, what was Houston Nutt's selling point to get you to Arkansas? Was it a selling point for Nutt?
Well, it came down to Oklahoma and Arkansas. Miami offered, Duke offered. There's a handful of A&M, Tennessee. You go down and start looking at the offers, but it came down between Oklahoma and Arkansas, and the relationship with Coach Nutt that I still have today. The best decision I've ever made in my 43 years of life is to go to the University of Arkansas. That was I believed in Coach, and David Lee was the quarterback coach there. I love some David Lee, and Coach Nutt was a guy that played both sports. He played football and basketball, and that was something that we could relate to. I don't like being lied to. If you lie to me, it's tough to come back from that. And I never felt like Coach Nutt. I've always said this about Coach Nutt. He doesn't have a lot of lie in him, man. He's authentic. He's real. And that shows. That's why I think Anthony Lucas is going to be he is a great coach, but he's going to do wonders there at Fayetteville High School because there's not a lot of lie in Anthony Lucas either.
Did it have anything to do? You're going to trust somebody because of how they talk to you and how they follow through on things. Did it help a little bit for you that Houston also played quarterback?
Oh, I don't know that mattered. It was just Coach Nutt even tell you he's more of a basketball guy too. Like he's his brother. I mean, we saw Coach what was that, the GAF? Or
that was
GAC?
at Fort Smith Southside. That's right.
He was
GAC champs.
and he was going with every play.
He Coach died with all of it. You're right.
Yeah, no, there's Coach Nutt speaks the same like that's Coach Nutt's a lot more like Coach Calipari than he is Mark Pope. You know, Coach Nutt speaks the language of the players, and that's what Coach Cal does. He knows how to speak the same language as the players do. No matter how old you get, you're still young that way, and I think that was one of the that's got to be key when you're recruiting. That's why Coach Cal is one of the best recruiters to ever coach college sport.
Austin thanks you for the memories and says he's glad that you came to Arkansas. I think everybody listening would certainly agree. 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Crabtree RV Center in Alma. They've been serving our listening audience for over 75 years and counting. You always get the best RV purchasing experience at Crabtree RV Center. There's also personalized financing, also a top-of-the-line parts and service department right where you made your purchase. Crabtree RV Center, where I-40 and I-49 come together in Alma. CrabtreeRV.com. Crabtree RV Center, making your dreams come true. Assignment for halftime homework for the C Unit after this.
It's at second base. Carly Davison snatching that out of midair.
This is halftime.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fifth Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Spring has arrived, bringing warmer days, road trips, and unpredictable spring showers. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we'll make sure your vehicle is ready for all your spring adventures. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your ride for whatever the season brings. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, not when you work with Tara Limbird and the Limbird Real Estate Group. With over $1 billion in real estate sold, Tara's team knows how to make the process simple, successful, and even enjoyable. They can provide you with a cash offer in 72 hours, or you can use Tara's high-octane marketing and sell your home for thousands over asking. When it's time to buy or sell, trust the team that delivers results. Go to LimbirdTeam.com, LIMBIRD.
COP CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050, COP CDL Academy.
What's new at the Golf Nut in 2026? Plenty. Mizuno JPX One Woods and Hybrids are now in stock. So are Cobra Optim Adapt Woods, Hybrids and Irons, ready for every swing style. Starting in February, check out our brand new Titleist ball display, featuring every number Titleist Pro V1 ball from 0 to 99. Step inside our newly remodeled retail space, explore the simulation bays, and experience our new fitting and lesson bay. Plus, new inventory arriving weekly. The Golf Nut, everything you need to play better.
Smalls here. If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds can turn into sinus infections that last weeks, ruining your perfect vacation getaway. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and a pharmacy, it's stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having an urgent care and a pharmacy at home. It includes prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of illnesses. So if you wake up sick, at home, or on the road, you have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, and no pharmacy lines. Also, no copays. Match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor. Start meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs a medical emergency kit, so order yours online in minutes. It's shipped right to your door. Save $45 with my promo code SMALLS at urgentcarekit.com/smalls. That's promo code SMALLS at urgentcarekit.com/smalls. Prescription required. Always consult your doctor to determine if this product is right for you.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years.
Son. Now me and Homer Jones and Big John Talley had a big trap game going back in the alley. Kept rolling them 7 and winning all them parts. My luck was so good I could do no wrong. I just kept on rolling and controlling them bones. Finally they just threw up their hand and said, when you hot, you hot. I said, yeah. When you hot, you hot.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
We are assigning homework for C Unit. This has to do with the first 12, which was just absolutely terrible phrasing for the new round of the NCAA basketball tournaments. Tainted 12, tepid 12, tolerable 12 could work, but we thought Dirty Dozen may work as well. Great 1967 World War II movie, Dirty Dozen.
Major Reisman, you are ordered by Allied command to select 12 general prisoners convicted by courts-martial and sentenced to be executed or serve lengthy prison terms for murder, rape, robbery, and other crimes of violence. And you will deliver them secretly behind enemy lines in France to undertake a mission of sabotage that could change the course of the war. The 12 men will be known as the Dirty Dozen.
What do you think, Unit? You ready?
Yeah.
Does that sound exciting and entertaining?
Dirty. That needs to play when before the first 12 game.
It does. Well, you need to watch it every year before the first 12, before the Dirty Dozen actually plays. This will get you excited, too, but it's also, and I don't want to tell you too much about this, but there aren't a lot of happy endings in every war movie. Let's put it that way, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to get yourself ready for it. Gird your loins for, well, just maybe have some tissues off to the side. Is that all right?
Oh. It's going to be one of those, a tearjerker, huh?
Well, I don't know if I'd say a tearjerker, but, at the end, you just, you might be a little bit sad. But you'll also know that you saw one of the better war movies that was ever made. The only thing is that I went back and looked at some old clips of it. They still play, they play like the patriotic, almost Yankee Doodle Dandy music in the background in some serious scenes. It's just like, what is going on here?
Trying to lighten the mood.
Well, I don't know if it's lightening the mood necessarily, or just reminding you that you're watching something that deals with patriotism and World War II more than anything. But just great cast, you'll love it. Telly Savalas, John Cassavetes. You don't even know who Telly Savalas is. You don't know who any of these people are. You ever heard of Charles Bronson?
No.
Charles Bronson was one of the meanest-looking movie stars of his time.
He was Jason Statham before Jason Statham.
Perfectly said. Absolutely perfectly. Ernest Borgnine, you have no idea who that is. Do you know who Donald Sutherland is? Do you know who Kiefer Sutherland is? That's Donald Sutherland's son. Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin was one of the great war movie actors ever. And then Telly Savalas was Kojak. Just go get yourself some lollipops. And, well, he's got too much hair to do the Kojak thing, Matt. You and I, we could do the lollipop and look like Telly Savalas, too.
Kojak was he had that deep. I don't think my voice goes as deep as he's smooth. Yeah.
Well, here's one guy that he does know. You know who Jim Brown is, right, Unit?
Yeah.
Right, Jim Brown. Is it legitimate to say Jim Brown still maybe was the greatest player in NFL history?
I think you could put him on the top 10 list.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's debatable. And then when you get in positions, I think quarterbacks are different, just like I think centers are different in basketball. You kind of, but yeah, no, I think Jim Brown in today's game would be every bit just as good as what he was back then.
So, I wonder, you remember he retired in the middle of his prime to go into acting. Was it this movie? I don't know if it was this movie that he retired from the NFL for. It may have been. That makes it more than just historic for Hollywood. It makes it historic for professional football. 877-377-6963, our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Looking forward to getting this movie review from Ebert, known as Christian the Unit Johnston. It's brought to you by Flyway Brewing Company. Great place to host a lunch meeting that will impress. Also a fantastic lunch menu and great space for private dining. Fresh beer, cold, crisp, and ready when the workday wraps up. Flyway Brewing Company in Fayetteville on Zion Road. We are back into the second hour of halftime after this.
Looking for power? We've got it. Wheeler Power Sports has the biggest pre-owned selection of UTVs, ATVs, and motorcycles around. Clean, powerful, ready to ride, and priced to move. From trail-ready machines to street legends. If it's got wheels and attitude, it's here. We're buying too. Got a bike, ATV, or UTV? Bring it in and get paid. Fast, easy, no hassle. Upgrade your ride or cash out today. Get to Wheeler Power Sports now, where the deals are high and the rides don't last. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling in downtown Fort Smith since 1967.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79. Doe's Eat Place has been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years, and now they're offering smoked prime rib on the weekends. It's a limited supply, so get your reservations in early. Try one of their delicious appetizers or your choice of drinks from the area's largest selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Doe's Eat Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off Duration, Woodscapes, and Super Deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. We've been hard at work getting ready for warmer weather, and we've put our best roster of road-ready certified pre-owned cars on the ground, priced to move and backed by a comprehensive warranty. With our non-commissioned sales team, painless pricing playbook, and the nation's best lenders, Rath's got the River Valley's deepest bench ready to take all the hassle out of getting your next ride. Don't settle for just any used car. Make the switch to road-ready certified and save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. Voted best pre-owned cars in the River Valley. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith. RathAutoFortSmith.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly sunny skies, slight chances seeing a shower or two across the south, a high into the middle 60s. Decrease in the cloud cover for tonight, overnight low in the low to mid 40s. Saturday, lots of sunshine, our high on Saturday right around the mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for wine, specialty beers, and liquor, located at 12100 Highway 71 South in Fort Smith. KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We're not the good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Number one Razorback is vintage Matt Jones. The Cinderella story is over, man. Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
$12:01, hour 2, halftime on a Friday, May the 1st. Happy May. I don't know exactly what that means, but happy May. Is it at this point where you're supposed to look back and say, I can't believe it's May already? Isn't that just like programmed into our brains every time you move into another month? You're supposed to look back and comment about how fast the year went? I can't believe it's May already, Matt. Holy moly.
How'd we ever win 8?
Good
How'd
question.
We ever make it to May?
Lewis Automotive Group hotline's always open for you at 877-377-6963. I'm Phil Elson, Matt Jones in the studios, Kristen Johnston, our movie reviewer as well. Figured out here, Chris from Springdale unit says that you don't do thumbs up and thumbs down like Siskel and Ebert used to do, but you can give a groan for a movie that you don't like.
Yes.
I think that's about right. And then he can give an Ed McMahon guffaw, like a real laugh for a movie that he likes. That'd be the thumbs up, thumbs down, Matt.
I need to know some mid list too. I need to know who's on the mid list
in the movie. Okay.
Yep.
Well, they're all grimy. They're all grimy military criminals. So I think they're all mid.
That's fine. There's a lot on there's a lot of room on C mid's mid list.
There's even scenes where they refuse to shower and refuse to shave. So
wow, that's Matt's. It's Matt's favorite right there.
That'd be your people. No, not at all. You're staying away from him. That's right. And I did confirm that's the movie. The Dirty Dozen is the movie that Jim Brown first acted in after he retired from the NFL. Yeah, that's like Barry Sanders, but Barry Sanders didn't go into an acting career. He just disappeared. I don't know if he would have been a good actor, but James Brown, like Jim Brown, actually, remember him in Who's Gonna Get You, Sucker? He didn't play Jim Brown, but he kind of did a little bit.
Was he in Shaft? Was Jim Brown in the movie Shaft, the original? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I pull up his the filmography here, and I can tell you when Shaft was made. I don't remember the year it was made. He was in some of the T.J. Hooker episodes that I watched as a kid. He was in some Knight Rider episodes. I don't see that he was in Shaft here, Matt. Dirty Dozen in 1967 would have been the second film that he was in. He was in Rio, I don't know how to say it properly, but Rio Conchos in 1964, but he was still playing for the Browns then. So the Dirty Dozen would be the movie that he retired
Now, did he convert to Muslim or Muslim, however you say it? Was he?
I don't think he did.
I
He had
thought
the hat,
I
right?
thought religiously. I thought he changed a little bit, kind of like Lou Alcindor did. I thought he had a religious thing going as well.
I'm unaware of it if he did.
Yeah, maybe it was more Black Panthers or more, Black Power thing, but it seemed like he definitely was standing up for some type of, human rights, or if it was religious, or it just seemed like that. It seemed like that or came with him.
And then there was Bronson and Lee Marvin, and I think another one of them were also. A lot of these men were military veterans because at that age in the 60s, a lot of them already served in World War II, and some of them were decorated war vets that are part of this movie. It's kind of amazing to think about. So I think you'll really enjoy the movie, Unit, and I'm sure we'll get some Ed McMahon guffaws when it comes right down to it. Yes, there's one I remember him in, B.A. Hogg, The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the real good Running Man, not the one that came out like a year ago. Jim Brown played one of the essentially the bad guys in the movie that Schwarzenegger's character has to overcome and kill. So Yaphet Kotto was his teammate in that. Remember that one? B.A. Hogg, Yaphet Kotto? Yeah, they're about the same time. He and Brown may have been about the same age. 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Group hotline. We'll have James Teague from the Teague Law Firm in about 10 minutes. Here's Ryan in Hot Springs on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. What's up, Ryan? How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. That is, y'all talking about a really good movie. You got to correct you on one thing, though. They're not all bad. Some of them were just got caught in tragic situations. Because, like Bronson's character, technically what he did was bad, but it was also the right thing by his men. I don't want to give that part of it away, but technically what he did, it really wasn't immoral. If you really think about what do you remember what I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember all of it, but I do remember the scene where some of them refused to shower and shave. So that's what I meant by being grimy.
Right. Well, like when y'all were talking about him being mid, like Charles Bronson was actually a hero to his men, but he had to. What he did was a crime to help his men. But anyway, my favorite character on there was the big guy that I think his name, the actual actor's name is Clint Walker, and his whole deal was he had lost his temper and killed a guy in a single punch. But man, you want to talk about a good movie and talk about Lee Marvin, boy. I don't know if they could have got another actor in that era to have commanded that role. Very well done.
There's Clint Walker. I see a photo of him right here. I guess I'd forgotten I'd seen him in the Ten Commandments, all those years. Yeah, it looked like he could cold cock somebody and end his life.
Right. Yeah, Christian, you're in for a treat, man. It for a '60s military movie, it is actually really good.
Let's go.
But anyway, I just want to put my seal of approval, and I ain't heard nobody talk about that movie in a while, and it kind of makes me want to go watch it now.
Well, you're welcome, Ryan, and thanks for bringing it up here. We only brought it up because we don't really think the NCAA basketball tournament should expand to another. Well, and it's only another 8 teams. It's just that you're already going with the first 4, add the 8. Now you got 12, and nobody's going to look at this event other than the fans of their teams that are excited about it and the players that might be and all of that, and maybe the executives that sell the ad sales. But nobody's going to be excited about this round of 12. That's how we came upon it. Dirty Dozen's got to be the name for it. Or, you can market it for whatever you want to market it. You're going with Tainted 12, Tedious 12, Tepid 12. The first 12 that get left out are the Tragic 12 or they're Traumatized. Any of this can work. It's just the NIT 12 are the ones that are really the first 12 out because they go right to the NIT. It's pretty much how it goes. Let's see, 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Yeah, I was going to say, we went and looked at some of the teams that would have made the tournament if you had an extra 8. Would have been Oklahoma, Auburn, San Diego State, Indiana, New Mexico, Stanford, Seton Hall, and Cal. Some of them don't have the kind of record or quad 1 record. It'd be like, you really going to make the field of 64? Indiana, 18-14. They were 3-10 in quad 1. Is that really a resume that belongs with a chance to win a national championship? Seton Hall, 20-11. They only played 7 quad 1 games. They won 1 of them. Apparently, they would have been one of the last teams to get in. Is that really indicative of a team that deserves a chance to play for a national championship, independent of whether or not they actually will? A team can get hot. It would happen more in basketball than it would in football too, right? I mean, there's this kind of thing. You're not going to have a team that finishes. Oh, I was looking at some of the teams on the committee's list that would have made the tournament. The football tournament, if you had 24 teams, which is what we are trending towards. Iowa would have gotten there with an 8-4 record. And I just can't imagine a team with 4 losses, playing in a tournament where you could actually play for a national championship. I know Alabama got there with 3 losses this last year, and that felt weird too.
I think Miami was a 10 seed, so that was pretty cool out of the 12. What were they, a 10 or a 9? They beat A&M first.
They were 10.
Yeah. I think there's more upsets in basketball. I still think it's like anything. Football's top heavy. Basketball's top heavy. It's a 1, 2, or 3. What I forget that they give us that number every year. Like 81% of the teams that win the national championship are a 1 through 4 seed. That's who wins the national championship in basketball. So yeah, they're just talking. I guess it's just participation ribbons. Dance with the girl that brought you. It's capitalistic. Get your money. Nobody thinks Seton Hall could have won it, but Texas beat BYU. Could Seton Hall have beat BYU and made it to the second week? Maybe that's enough.
John in Prairie Grove asks, why don't they take regular season conference champions and conference tournament champions? Then the entire body of work is considered instead of just a team that gets hot for a week. Well, there's still going to be at-large bids that go along with this. Now, and I put in the dollar signs there as the answer, but I do think he makes a legitimate argument. If you want the regular season to mean something, why not give an automatic bid to the regular season champion too? But then you're taking away automatic bid. Then you're taking away at-large bids. Then there's 2 automatic bids per conference. Now you're going to expand. Maybe then you have to expand the tournament to like 48.
Sometimes the regular season champ wins the conference tournament. But, yeah, sometimes there would be 2. And then maybe you don't value if you already know you're in, which I guess if you win your conference in a power conference, you're in. The thing that's weird is how do you tell an athlete to compete and then tell them, okay, now don't go out there and compete so much. It doesn't mean as much, during the conference tournament. That's the whole mind. It's just like that's not how athletes work.
That always seems to be the thing that gets in the way of a postseason that seems to make sense for a lot of us is the conference tournaments. They're going to do away with the conference championship football games. If you're adding, you're going to add it, more another round or another 2 rounds, I guess, to the football playoff, but do away with the conference championship games. But they're not going to do away with the conference basketball tournaments. That's going to stay.
I'm telling you, I think the NCAA football is missing out. You have the SEC and the Big Ten you kick off the season every single year. 1 plays 1, 2 plays 2, 3 plays 3. Bam. And that's how you start the college football season from the year before. That would be you talking about hype and getting ready to go for college football season. That's it, right? And take away the college, take away your conference championship games if you want to. I think everything should matter, but it doesn't. But that's what I would do.
I love that idea. Well, let's look how the baseball season starts for Arkansas this past year. It essentially was an SEC versus Big 12 matchup with 6 schools at a big league ballpark playing against each other. Not every SEC team played Big 12, but that's the kind of thing that excites you more than, like playing Texas Arlington at home for the first weekend of the season. And I would love to see SEC versus Big 10 for the first week, and then you end up maybe seeing rematches in
We do it in basketball,
January.
right? Don't we do SEC versus ACC? But it's right before conference play starts.
That's right. Yeah, it's heck. I mean, we've the SEC ACC thing is early December.
But let the fodder begin, man. That's in this line of work that we do. That's 2 weeks worth of material to talk about and being able to go back and like who's the best. Well, this conference got more people drafted. This conference has 2 more teams, and well, this conference one more. It's so that would just be man. That would be awesome.
I wonder if one thing that would be in the way to scheduling something that makes way too much sense, like you're talking about here, Matt, is finding a way to placate all of your TV partners, because the Big Ten does not air their games on ESPN. You have to do it the way the NFL used to, right?
It's half and half. It's the half. If the 1 seed plays at home, then the 2 seeds playing on the road, and then the 3. So you just odd numbers, even numbers. That those games would be on the Big Ten. Those games would be on or I guess it'd be Fox and ESPN.
We're way too good of television for them to actually do something like this. Way too good. Dr. Tyler says, who do you think Arkansas would play if it was this next season? Who does Arkansas play?
Purdue.
In SEC
we would
Big
get to go play Purdue.
Get the Barry Odom return.
Northwestern.
Well, two Big Ten teams would be left out every year because they have 2 more teams. So, but you would play, and maybe you have to win a game to be eligible. If you don't win a conference game, you're not eligible.
Well, then Arkansas can just have another jamboree. We'll break in a moment, and we'll be talking with James Teague from the Teague Law Firm. After I tell you about Roback, that's where you can find the Arkansas Game Day collection for your favorite Razorback fan. Great clothing at Roback.com. Brand new Arkansas hoodies, polos, Q-zips that always sell fast. Get 20% off your first order using the code RUSH26 at checkout. That's Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Roback, where action meets comfort. Baseball talk with former Razorback James Teague from the Teague Law Firm when halftime continues.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive
Tommy
Group.
Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 cents with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo Dusted Crispy Chicken Nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E. from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with the free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good feet, good life.
Features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, back on the show here. We've got James Teague on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. So let's talk some baseball with James Teague from the Teague Law Firm.
Hey, it's former Hog James Teague.
Teague comes running in, throws a fastball in the corner, drops a breaking ball in there, and is now way ahead of the count.
Join me on Halftime Fridays at 12:15 to talk Hog baseball, and come see me at the Teague Law Firm for any legal matter you need handled. You know what we always say, if we can't help you, we'll talk baseball.
The 1-2. He struck him out swinging. James, happy Friday, happy May, happy Ole Miss series. How are you feeling?
Hey, Phil. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good, man. So rivalry. Ole Miss, was it a rivalry with Ole Miss when you played, or is this sort of something that's just a little newer? Because I remember feeling, about Ole Miss even back then. It's just there's something between these two programs.
Oh, yeah, they've got all their antics, and they've got all the little tricks that they do and all the dancing and funny business. So I think something that's always kind of rubbed everyone the wrong way in the hog world.
No, they won't do it. In fact, there's some things that Davis said about the team this year about we don't go about things that way, and I just kind of wonder about. And I don't think it's a matter of things that happen on the field. I think it may be practice habits or some things leading up to the game, feeling like they're 100% focused. And that to me, there's the on the field thing that really defines Razorback baseball, which is attention to detail, good base running, throwing strikes, really big arms, and guys that make plays in the field. But then there's off the field about what it means to be a Razorback. What did that mean to you? What do you think Dave means?
I think it's just about being serious, going about your business and doing things the right way. I think that's always kind of been, his mantra and how he's kind of defined the program. And I think that sometimes when you get a little squirrely and you start acting like that, it kind of runs contrary to Dave's way.
Was that easier to maintain, in the time that you noticed, because you'd have, a group of players, like a class that would stick together for 2, 3, sometimes 4 years, and you don't have that kind of consistent large group of players that stay together and sort of teach the culture of the program to the new guys. Was that a way that it kind of that you felt you grew into that kind of player, and maybe you were that kind of player when you showed up anyway?
Yeah, it's a little bit of that, but also you just kind of get to ingratiate yourself in that culture and kind of learn it, and from there, it kind of just becomes status quo.
Yeah, well, status quo for Arkansas, James, is beating Ole Miss. They've done so well against the Rebels, really, in the last. I know I think it's 6 straight regular season series, but going back to 2017, they've only lost 1 series to Ole Miss. If they're going to win this series, they're probably going to have to score quite a bit. You didn't really see them slug the ball against Missouri very much, and so I wonder if that concerns Razorback fans a little bit, because they'll probably have to score a little bit more to beat Ole Miss this weekend.
Ole Miss can score. They're a team that's got a prolific offense, and they also have a prolific Friday night guy, and so I think it's one of those where they're going to learn to score, and they're going to figure it out, or they're going to have a hard time winning. I think you said it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. This last week, the loss to Missouri this Saturday, it's wild when you think about this. Like, they've won 4 of their last 5 games. They had a 3-1 week, and then have a win over Northwestern State that was a little bit nondescript, but a win nonetheless. I feel like that Saturday loss to Mizzou is stuck in a lot of people's minds. Maybe not the players' minds, but in people's minds. It's like losing a baseball game to Missouri, especially the way that game went down, was troubling.
Well, it's hard to win 3 in a row, and it's hard to play at your best all the time. if you go, anytime you're playing on the road, you want to win the series first and foremost. And, you see even in midweek games, we lose a lot of midweek games because it's just hard to win all the time. Guys have good games, things don't go their way. And, you've seen it. Baseball is a weird sport. Weird things happen. And sometimes when you mess up, sometimes weird things happen and it just doesn't go your way.
It just kind of felt a little bit like they came out it's like we started on the idea of, being focused for the start of the game. It just felt like it wasn't coming out flat. It was just coming out just maybe, I don't know what to say, like not ready, but not 100% zeroed in on from first pitch to last pitch, playing the kind of game that you can play. And I guess that sort of has defined the season so far. Dave's even saying it's like, well, now's the time to really start playing really well, and I think consistency or lack thereof, it's not that it's not a talented team. I think there's talent on this team. They just haven't been able to kind of keep it nice and even. And that's difficult to do in baseball, but I'd say this year more than most.
Yeah, and sometimes it's focused, sometimes it's, stressing or it's overdoing it. You're in a slump, you start pressing, and then you start doing really well, you want to keep it going. So it can be a lot of things that create that, but sometimes, coaches need to rip into people and say, this is a game you got to win for RPI, for rankings, for yourself. Coming out flat, coming out on focus can't happen. And sometimes you need those games to get back on track, to know that you're not taking anything for granted.
So I watched a little bit of the Vanderbilt-Alabama game yesterday. I've never seen in person, in a game that I've either been there as a fan or as a broadcaster, I've never seen the hidden ball trick done successfully. Vanderbilt pulled it off yesterday at third base, James. Did you ever see the hidden ball trick pulled off in person?
Yeah, I think there was a rule change when I was doing it, because it used to be that you could do the hidden ball trick and you didn't have to take the mound. You could kind of circle the top of the mound, whereas before when they didn't have that, the pitcher could be nowhere near the bag and you get away with it. So it's been more difficult since that rule change, but, hitters stay on your toes. The savvy pitchers are coming for you.
It was amazing. Like the third baseman's usually the hidden ball trick's done at first base, but the third baseman's holding it. You can't tell. The pitcher's off the mound. He's not on the mound at all. He's on the second base side, off the hill, and the runner just takes a step. Boom, you're out. It's. I'm kind of surprised I've never seen it before, but it does show just like people don't try that very much. You ever try it? I mean, were you ever asked to try to do that before?
Yeah, we've tried it at third a couple times where, you let's say you do a pickoff, like the catcher throws back down the line, and then, the third baseman, the coach is talking to the guy, a third baseman does a little fake throw, puts it in his armpit or something, and then from there you just circle the mound long enough, see if he gets off the bag, and you're ready to tag him. But, it's probably 1 in 100 by the time you try it compared to the times it works.
Yeah, and with the pitch timer, it's just got to be a little more, it's just a little more difficult because the pitcher is the ball. They're going to start that timer, so the runner pays attention to that. Also in that game, Tim Corbin, who, look, I mean, he's forgotten more baseball than I know. He's won 2 national titles. But, and a head coach and a manager has to make decisions. His decision yesterday was to take his starting pitcher, Connor Fennell, out after 70 pitches. He'd allowed only 1 run at that point. He'd given up a single in the 6th inning, and he took him out of the game. You can see Fennell was really upset about it. In fact, I think he might have dropped an F-bomb when Corbin got to the mound. And then later on in that inning, the 2 relievers that Vandy used blew the lead. They go on to lose in 9 innings. The week before, though, he got knocked around after his 70th pitch. So I just wonder how you look at it. You got a head coach who sees this guy got knocked around after his 70th pitch last week by Texas. I'm not going to let it happen today, but the bullpen got knocked around instead.
Yeah, it's easy in hindsight, and I'm sure you know that you watch enough baseball. The manager always looks like a genius or an idiot after the fact. But I never hate pulling the starter, just because if you have a lot of faith in your bullpen, you get a new look. You're playing a matchup game with the guys that are coming in. Now, if the starter's rolling and really dominating, I've been in the dugout and I've heard the offense say, "All right, he's out of the game. Let's get the next guy." They're relieved. They're like, whatever this guy's got, we're not hitting him. And so sometimes you kind of you give a little bit of a morale boost to the offense because the starter's gone. You don't have to worry about him anymore. So you got to just kind of read the room a little bit to know, leave him in or take him out. But like you said, Corbin's been around long enough. I wouldn't question his decision-making on the front end, and it's obviously easy to stay on the back end when the bullpen blows up.
No, we know you well enough to know you're a real competitor. No starting pitcher wants to be taken out of a game. He may understand that now's the time, but you don't want to do it. You ever walk off the mound angry that you just got taken out of a game that you were dealing in? You're like, why are you taking me out? Come on, I got another 15 left in me. I can get through this inning.
Oh, yeah, I think we've all been there. A lot of times when I came out of the game, it kind of depended on who was coming in. If I was coming out and I had Zach Jackson behind me, I felt pretty good that if there were runners stranded, they were going to get left on base, and then vice versa. If maybe a guy wasn't quite as confident, I'm thinking, what the heck? You like that guy over me? What are you thinking? But, it just depends. Everyone wants to be out there and pitch and compete and get guys out. It's kind of the name of the game while you do it.
James always joins us Fridays right about this time, getting set for Arkansas baseball. James, of course, former Arkansas pitcher, now a member of the Teague Law Firm going on 4 years. They can help you with all sorts of matters, family law, bankruptcy, wills and estates, personal injury, criminal defense. They can help with divorce, custody, and paternity as well. 479-877-1688. If you leave a message, they will call you back, and you will talk to an actual lawyer. James, what's going on at the Teague Law Firm these days?
We're plugging along. We're in tax refund season, and so a lot of people are like, I can't afford a lawyer. I say, tax refund season. There you go. So a lot of times April and May, business will pick up for that reason. And it kind of brings me, the legal world is expensive, and it's a big investment for people when they come to us and they say, I'm not only trusting you with my family and my time, but also with my finances, because like I said, the legal world is just expensive. And so that's not something we take lightly. I think how you bill and how you operate is really important as far as building trust with the client and doing it with integrity. And, we're going to keep plugging along. We're going to keep helping people in, family law, contract law, domestic, really anything that comes through the door. And like we always say, if we can help people, talk baseball.
Teague Law Firm has been your local law firm serving Northwest Arkansas since 1993. And James, we'll talk next week. Thanks as always.
Yeah, we'll do it. Talk soon, Phil. Thanks.
479-877-1688 for the Teague Law Firm. Now stay with us. Halftime returns after this.
I just got off the golf course. I don't know what you want from me.
This is Halftime. Hey, it's Phil Elson for Bath Makeover of Arkansas, now seeking skilled craftsmen. Bath Makeover is hiring the natural state's best plumbers, electricians, bathroom installers, and project managers to keep up with high demand. If you're ready for steady work and better pay, Bath Makeover of Arkansas wants to talk to you. Bath Makeover's commercial division is growing as well, installing over 100 bathrooms a month, knocking out multi-unit projects quickly, easily 10 bathrooms in a single week at hotels, apartments, and government housing all across Arkansas. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is looking for experienced, qualified, skilled craftsmen to join their talented team. To learn more about job opportunities, visit bathmakeoverar.com. That's bathmakeoverar.com. Plumbers, electricians, bathroom installers, and project managers. Visit bathmakeoverar.com. That's bathmakeoverar.com. This is Halftime. Spring is in the air, and the fish are biting, the gobblers are strutting, and the trees are blooming. Jelco Outdoors, your locally owned one-stop shop, is ready to help you get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Stop by and let our friendly staff help you get the gear you need. Jelco Outdoors, your store for hunt, fish, and work. That's what we do. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors.
Hey, Todd Richardson from The Morning Rush, and I want to tell you what Linda, Joe, and their team are doing at Newmeyer's Whippoorwill Restaurant. Daily lunch specials come with a side and a roll, Monday through Friday from 11 to 3, just $9.99 each. Mondays is Mimi's Meatloaf. Tuesday is 3 chicken dinners. Wednesday is chicken fried steak. Thursday, Garrison Swiss chicken. And Friday, a Whippoorwill burger. 509 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Newmeyer's Whippoorwill Restaurant. Timeless Southern home cooking.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I put my blue jeans on. I put my blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
Blue jeans on. I put my blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
For generations, Hardscrabble Country Club has been the heart of great golf in Fort Smith. For 100 years, it's where families connect, friendships grow, and traditions are passed down. From its historic fairways to its welcoming community, Hardscrabble is more than a club. It's home. Join us as we celebrate a century of memories and create new ones together. Hardscrabble Country Club. Tradition lives here.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Putting on a drum show. Completed checklist for today. Now they have to let you out of here. Feeling stuck between a rock and a home. Places you do not want to go. So go. He's putting on a drum show.
Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Brace yourself. May Mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I forgot. Thank you to Brent in Kentucky reminding me that the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. He says, remember to mention Arkansas Derby winner Renegade. There you go. Renegade, good luck. It has a horrible post-1 position. Odds makers, though, and I'm just reading off Brent's text here. Renegade has a 1 in 4 chance of winning the Derby. So you got to root for Renegade tomorrow, Matt Jones.
Always bet a 1, 2, 3 trifecta box. Every single race, you to just put it's a $1 bet, so it ends up being a $6 bet. Whenever I go to Oaklawn, I haven't been in a couple years, but every single race, I'll pick a horse. You win, place, show, maybe 5 across. But then I always do a 1, 2, 3 exacta box, and you'll be surprised how many times. That's great odds. 25% odds to win in a 20-horse field. That's amazing.
That's some educated work right there, man.
I like, my parents, I grew up in Hot Springs for a little bit. I used to go to the races once or twice a year. I haven't been in a couple years, but last Sunday when we had to drive down, I had to drive down when we did the show in Hot Springs, I almost walked. I got there about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I almost walked across to bet the ponies for a couple. If I'd have had a buddy, if I'd have had somebody to go with, I would have went over there.
Just was never part of my youth. There was a harness racing track just south of Pittsburgh called the Meadows, and every once in a while people would go down there. But I just couldn't get excited about harness racing. Getting on the horse looked a little bit more exciting.
I do like how James Teague changed the names to protect the guilty. He didn't. Well, he just omitted the names to protect the guilty. That was very savvy.
What of the
pitcher that he didn't want coming in after him? I thought that
right.
was very lawyers. He changed he omitted the name.
He mentioned Zach Jackson. He didn't say some of the other names.
You know who you are.
That's interesting. That's funny too. Well, I was talking about this kid who was his name Connor Fennell, who was taken out by Tim Corbin after his 70th pitch. His 70th pitch was lined for a base hit by Alabama's Justin LeBron. So I just wonder sometimes, you'd be like, well, the last game that you pitched after 70 pitches and he threw over 100, you got crushed. So is he really making the wrong decision by taking that kid out, even though he was pitching really well? Now, it's got to be on a case-by-case basis. I mean, you can treat every week exactly the same, but the moment that Fennell comes out of the game, literally the moment he comes out of the game, the next thing that happens, passed ball and an RBI base hit, bringing a new pitcher, and a home run to tie the game. In the very same inning, he was taken out. And you can see Fennell, who tried to cover his mouth when Corbin got up there so you couldn't see how angry he was, but he didn't get his glove up in time. You could see the F-bomb, and he said, haven't I just thrown about 65, 70 pitches? He even knew how many pitches he'd thrown. And when the home run that Alabama hits ties the game, this kid, Fennell, is trying to hide in the back of the dugout. Like he walked around to a doorway and walked on the other side of the doorway thinking that you know how the cameras are. We've gotten into this. And he was still in the camera's purvey, and you could see he's kicking at the wall. He's stomping around. He looks absolutely furious. And they go on to lose the game on a walk-off home run in the ninth inning. And that was a must-win game for Vanderbilt. Now Vandy lost 4 in a row non-conference. They've had some pretty bad losses this year to Indiana and UCA and North Dakota State and Arizona. Those are all teams with plus 100 RPIs, but they also don't play some of the teams that have good RPIs. They don't play Florida. They don't play Ole Miss. They don't play Auburn. They don't play Georgia this year. Vandy used back in the day when you were playing in divisions, Vandy would get Georgia every single year. They would get Florida every single year. The RPI would take care of itself in the SEC. It doesn't anymore. It doesn't. Their conference record is not bad. I think it's 10-12. I mean, we've seen Florida get into the NCAA tournament, although they were 4 games under 500 in SEC play, 13-17. And that team went on to play for a national championship. They didn't just make it to Omaha. They made it to the last 2. Vandy may end up with maybe the same sort of conference record, but they're not going to make the tournament with that conference record because they have bad losses. It's like, you've had the 2 worst losses for Arkansas this year, Matt, are Stetson. The 2 losses to Stetson, the 1 loss to Texas Arlington is an anchor on the Razorbacks RPI. Also the 1 loss to Mizzou. That's a quad 3 loss. That's a bad loss. That's going to be a little bit of an anchor, but you can still make up ground because the next 6 games are all against teams that are ahead of you in the RPI. And if you beat them 2 out of 3, you know that the RPI rankings, half of the rankings have to do with your opponent's records throughout the year. So much of it is out of your hands. It's out of your hands. It's what your opponents are doing. Stetson has not done well in their conference. Texas Arlington has not done well in their conference this year. So that's been an anchor on this RPI rather than something that can buoy it, like a win over Oklahoma State has been. Like 1 win over Georgia can help. Beat Ole Miss, if I remember, I think they're 14. 2 wins in this series, that's going to go a long way.
Well, and sometimes a change of scenery is good. And what I mean is the last couple years we've been favored. We've been supposed to make it. We've been supposed to go to Omaha. We're supposed to host. Now it's more like, hey, back against the wall. Nobody's really expecting much out of you. Oh, it'd be cute if you win a game or 2 in the regional or something, but nobody thinks that they're really going to do it this year. So maybe you can galvanize a team that way.
There is enough there, Matt, I think, to go farther than some jaundiced fans may look at it.
To everybody that watches this team play, you're like, they're not even close to as good as last year's team. So you're kind of like, I think we're all prisoners of that moment. You're like, oh, we saw what really good was last year. This team's not even close to that. But
no, they are not.
They're still talented. They can still get hot. They're still on all that stuff that goes in. And that's why you're the only people that can save you are the people in that locker room. And no matter what anybody else thinks, it just matters what you guys are up to and how y'all believe.
Yeah, the fact that you've got Hunter Dietz and you got a legitimate ace, you can beat anybody, and then if you can outscore somebody in the second game of a regional in a weekend, because I'm assuming you're going on the road, but if not, who knows? Do you really pitch off? Is this a team that can pitch off? Well, I think we're that's a conversation for a month from now. But this is a team that has enough talent to make noise, depending on where they play, who they play, and if they are playing clean, steady, consistent baseball. And that's the problem right now, is the clean steadiness, consistentness it just has not been there. That was the thing that stood out last year, Matt, even amongst all the power, amongst all of the, how difficult it was to make it through the lineup. That was a consistent team in the field, on the bases, on the mound for the most part, until that very last inning. And that's what defines the differences between this year's team and last year's team. Yeah, there's not as much power. There are fewer great at bats. It's not the scariest lineup 1 through 9 that it was last year, but it still could be a pretty good team.
Good.
It still really could be a good team. Yes. 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Group hotline. I think we'll have a lot of. Here's the things. Like you could watch what happens this weekend and make your mind up, but you never can really make your mind up in this sport at this point. You think you know what you're watching. You think you see a 2022 team that just can't figure it out, can't get out of their own way in the last few weeks, and they end up in Omaha. You see a team like the 2021 team that just could beat everybody because you had Superman on the mound and they had tons of power and they never lost at home. And, oh, my gosh, and then they go home and lose in a super regional, and nobody could have predicted that. Good luck predicting this sport. It doesn't work well. We'll break in a moment. I do have a Fish City Trivia Friday question for you, and we'll do that after the break. Stay with us on Halftime.
You guys had shirts on when you came in here. Did something happen to them, man?
This is Halftime.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith.
Spring is here, and it's the perfect time to upgrade your home. If your garage door needs repair or you're ready for a new look, call Precision Garage Door. From broken springs and openers to brand new doors, they provide expert service and professional installation. Fully licensed and insured, with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers, and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call 844-PDS-DOOR or visit PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Precision Garage Door, voted the best in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Ace has always been the helpful place, and now we're even more helpful by offering instant savings to Ace Rewards members. Just sign up at Metters Lumber Ace Hardware to start saving right at the register. Right now, get $50 off an Ego 56-volt trimmer and blower combo, or buy a Ego multi-head string trimmer and get a free attachment up to $199 value. Ace, the helpful place. Must be an Ace Rewards member to receive instant savings. Available through the end of the month. See participating stores for details.
Take your dining to a whole new level at Blue Point Seafood and Steak Restaurant. You'll find the finest cuts of steak and the freshest seafood in an amazing atmosphere. Blue Point Seafood and Steak Restaurant is at Chaffee Crossing, across from the Arkansas Colleges of Health Education on Chad Colley Drive. When your night deserves the best, call 597-4081 for reservations or book online at Toast. Blue Point Seafood and Steak Restaurant, your destination for not only great food, but an amazing experience.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-433-8909. 800-433-8909. Again, that's 800-433-8909.
ESPN Arkansas is growing, and we're looking for motivated sales professionals with digital marketing and media sales experience to join our team. If you have a background in digital or media sales, love sports, and enjoy building relationships and helping businesses grow, we want to hear from you. We offer excellent pay, a market-leading commission structure, and full benefits including health, dental, vision, and life insurance. Ready to join an exciting team environment where every day is different? Send your resume to sales@hitthatline.com. That's sales@hitthatline.com. Pearson Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years.
Just mad about saffron. Saffron's mad about me. I'm just mad about saffron. She's just mad about me. They call me Mellow Yellow, quite rightly. They call me Mellow Yellow, quite rightly. They call me Mellow Yellow.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Oh, a great moment last night on the Baltimore Orioles broadcast. Legendary pitcher, Hall of Famer Jim Palmer, of course, is not just known for being a great pitcher, but making jockey underwear commercials. Is 80 years old, Matt. He ate his first chicken wing of his life yesterday on the air because he said he would if the Orioles hit a grand slam while he was working a game. He doesn't work every Orioles game, so he'd missed on 3 grand slams, but this did happen yesterday.
You know, I've never had a wing, ever. What do you mean you've never ever had a wing? If they hit another grand slam while I'm broadcasting, I will make sure I eat a chicken.
Okay, that's him saying that on April 16th of 2025. If they hit another grand slam while I'm working a game, I will eat a chicken wing. It took over a year for it to happen.
It's an even 400, and that number might go up. Deep left center field. Matthews charging back, makes the catch, and crashes into the fence. But did he have the ball? No, he lost it on the way down. Matthews couldn't squeeze it, and we need to get you a chicken wing.
Well, he said he would do it. We got to get you a chicken wing. They literally scoured all of Camden Yards because at that point a lot of the concession stands were closed, but they found some chicken wings for Jim Palmer.
That was then. And this is now. The Orioles have hit 2 grand slams in 3 innings. Anything you'd like to say? Any last words here? Rob's with us, too.
That Bryce Miller Matthews should have caught that ball, and I cannot believe Jason Alexander. Why did you hang a slider?
Sounds disappointed that his own team hit a grand slam. He's eating it. It's like he's eating it like he's eating a moon rock. He's eating something that is completely foreign to him.
So you having your first
Actually,
wings?
these are pretty good.
Look at that!
What I've missed all these years.
He said he didn't play that. He said after you get past all the skin and grease, it's pretty good.
Has he? I mean, he's ate chicken before, just never a chicken wing. You know?
Correct. He never ate a chicken wing. In fact, I think I've read about like last year, they ordered a bunch of chicken tenders and chicken wings into the booth. He only ate the tenders. I don't know why I wouldn't eat the wing. Is it the skin? Because you don't have skin on a tender. That's just a piece. That's just a piece of the meat. But the wing has skin on it, and it is a lot of skin. And that's the first thing he mentioned. So it must have crept him out.
C-mid, which one's on the mid list, or the tender or the wing? Or you like both of them? You wouldn't care?
If I
And there is no such thing as a boneless wing.
I would
okay?
I would rather put the tender on the mid list.
Oh, so you're a wing guy. Okay.
Or what about you, Matt?
Tender all day, every day. I don't really ever order wings. They're just weird. They're small. They got blood in them. There's like I'm not saying I'll eat one, but I'll order tenders before I order a wing.
I'm going with wings. I'll go with wings because I think they taste better. The fat's good. The skin's really good. Even the occasional feather. You can use it to pick your teeth out. It's okay.
Just don't make me eat the beak.
Carl says some people have an aversion to beak. Don't eat the beak. And he's right about this. I've got my nephew has an aversion to bones. He will not eat any meat if there's a bone in it. He won't have a steak with the bone in it. He won't have chicken with the bone in it, but he'll eat the tender part of the chicken.
I never really thought about it, to be honest, but now I'm kind of thinking about it.
Oh, see, mid-list.
Oh,
Well, you got a problem with the bone? You have a bone problem unit?
I haven't had a problem until now. I'm just
There are
kinda-
doctors for something like that, I think. But hey, I'm fine eating chicken wings or tenders. I just know that I
I'll
don't
eat
know if
either
I'm gonna,
one. But yeah,
Matt,
I'll eat one.
all I know is I'm not going to live to 80 like Jim Palmer is probably going to live to 180. Because this man, if you've not eaten a chicken wing by the age of 80, he probably takes care of himself in so many other ways, right? So I just need to. I was reading an interview he did. He said, "Well, I eat Greek yogurt with fruit and granola for breakfast every single morning, and he works out every single morning." But he's famous for the jockey underwear ads. You need to go back and look at these things. I mean, that was when it was like literally hugging every square inch of just the little piece of your body that underwear actually held in, and he was in full magazine fold-outs with that thing, showing all his body hair and everything except for one little part of it. Do that at age 80 without eating a chicken wing. I bet you he could.
Chicken bone broth. That would be the answer.
We go into hour 3 of halftime. And by the way, Fish City Friday trivia, because Jim Palmer finally ate a wing. What former backup infielder for the Yankees had the nickname Chicken? And no, it is not Wade Boggs. That was not his nickname. He was Chicken Man. You get $25 gift card to Fish City Grill if you give me the right answer. What former Yankee backup infielder's nickname was Chicken? We come back into hour 3 of halftime next.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or
Rich
prevent
Eisen
disease.
here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payments sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to your friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required. Not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
for today. Partly sunny skies, slight chance of seeing a shower or two across the south, a high into the middle 60s. Decrease in the cloud cover for tonight, and overnight low in the low to mid 40s. Saturday, lots of sunshine, our high on Saturday right around the mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for wine, specialty beers, and liquor, located at 12100 Highway 71 South in Fort Smith. KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
You're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the house.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My hot dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
But they were one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man.
Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
101 back for Hour 3, halftime on a Friday. Now the golden hour. Neil Atkinson bets Sarah's in about 15 minutes from now. Any betting questions, you can send them in at 877-377-6963. Our Fish City Friday trivia question today, because of Jim Palmer eating his very first ever chicken wing. What former Yankee backup infielder, and I had to give you the little hint with that, former Yankee backup infielder had the nickname Chicken. Now, Wade Boggs did play for the Yankees, but he was not a backup middle infielder because he played third base. And he was the Chicken Man. You remember? Wasn't there an episode with him on Always Sunny in Philadelphia? But they did did he sit on the plane with them for the drinking challenge on the airplane?
At the end, but that's where "Don't Make Me Eat a Beat" comes from when they're talking about chicken. That's I cite my work, but that's where that one comes from.
But he was called Chicken Man because he would eat chicken before every single game he ever played.
The gang, as they like to call themselves, wore white T-shirts, and they would mark down. They were trying to get to Wade Boggs' record because the what is it? The old wise tale or the fable was that he drank like
137 beers or something.
Yeah,
on a cross-country flight.
And then went 4 for 4 the next day. No.
As long as you got enough chicken before the game, the beer doesn't matter. Beer and chicken do go together. I mean, really, really well. Fred Stanley is the player. His nickname was, initially he was called Chicken Wing because they said he looked like a chicken wing. He was 5'10", 165 pounds. They eventually shortened the nickname to Chicken. And he never really started all that many games. He was a backup middle infielder for the Yankees when they won a couple of world championships in the 70s. Finished his career with the A's. And I remember seeing Fred Stanley come through Little Rock as the Yankees farm director. He would come and scout every once in a while. And I didn't know what his nickname was until one of the coaches I knew said, "Hey, there's Chicken." I'm thinking, who are you talking about? And there's Fred Stanley right there. So it was one of my favorite nicknames. And congratulations to a guy in Harrison for getting the right answer. You will get a $25 gift card to Fish City Grill in Fayetteville. I can tell you what's going on this month at Fish City Grill. Of course, Mother's Day would be effortless on May the 10th with a specially curated 3-course menu that features the return of a fan favorite. So you get your first course, super salad, crab bisque, or a balsamic blue side salad. Second course, you can choose your entree, either caper salmon, chicken Milanese, blackened trout, shrimp piccata pasta, or their signature fish and chips. You get dessert that comes with it, only $35 per person. This is for Sunday, May 10th, Mother's Day at Fish City Grill, 2003 South Bellevue Road in Rogers. Fish City Grill, friendly folks, serious seafood. No, wasn't Dale Barra. It wasn't Willie Randolph. It wasn't Bobby Warnes, B.E., but I'll tell you what, Bobby does the chicken dance, a little piece of the chicken dance for every single game at third base when they do the chicken chant. So he wasn't a backup middle infielder for the Yankees, though, B.E., so I can't send you the gift card. Speaking of nicknames that have animals attached to them, here's Charlie, an hour late. He's the tuna. What's up? Just wait for another 20 years, Charlie. We'll ask a trivia question that's who's the caller that's known as the tuna. But by then, everybody in the state's going to know the answer.
I mean, by then I might have a whole new nickname, right? I mean, you going to have something new for me by then?
No, you better.
You
what,
gonna let me
Dolphin?
keep that
Yeah, I don't want you to be Dolphin. You're just tuna.
We got a pitcher on the staff that's named that too, like, and it's tough, you know.
Well, when your last name is Fisher, they're going to give you a name that comes from the sea. It's just how it works.
Yeah, I mean, my last name is Shepard, so I mean, Matt, give me a nickname that would go along with that.
Well, mackerel doesn't really go with it, so we can eliminate nicknames as we go.
Sheep.
Well, why don't we just call you Abraham, since Abraham was a shepherd?
Well, my dad, you know, he keeps on, you know, he gets at me about the beard and stuff, and you know, he tells me I look like Moses. So I'm trying to, you know, I'm about sick of him telling me that. I said, at least I still got some hair, you know. So me and my dad like to go back.
All I know is the next time he calls Matt, I'm calling him Abraham the tuna.
Have you ever ate reindeer before, though?
No.
What about pony? You ever had a pony
No.
sandwich? Okay.
Sautéed
No,
reindeer is a delicacy in Finland. That's why we're asking about that.
No, I have not partaken in such a thing. Have
Would
you guys
you
had
eat
that
reindeer?
before?
If somebody if we were in a spot and they like, hey, this is our national dish, would you eat reindeer?
I'm very picky
I have
about
to
my
let you
reindeer
two-
slices, Matt. I'm only going to eat the ribeye of the reindeer.
I need them really, really.
Y'all
thin
got to go
slices.
first.
Don't feed me the antlers.
No horse. Just as long as don't eat horse.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm not. Yeah, y'all got to go first if I'm gonna try that. Like, I got to be there, see y'all try it, see y'all not make a face where y'all are about to throw up, and then I might give it a shot. But
fair enough.
Anyways, we got 9 games left in the no more midweek games, right, Phil? SEC slate.
That is correct.
Here
9
down
SEC
the-
games
down-
remaining. Whatever happens in Hoover, and then a regional.
Well, I guess I don't really care too much what happens in Hoover, but I mean, I guess it could matter. But at this point, these 9 games obviously become huge, and in my opinion, you kind of get to that point, as you always say, Phil, where it is you are who you are. Let's just say they went. Let's just say they went 9-0 in these next 9 games. But I think each game, it would have to depend on how the game was played. And to be honest, I don't see it happening with this team, because once you get to game 3, that's when you got to score a little more. And this team, for whatever reason,
I don't see anybody in this league, Charlie, winning 9 straight league games. Nobody's that good this year.
No, I'm with you on that. I was just I'm trying to be positive about this team.
It's okay to be.
After you
Look, I don't see why people want to be negative about them. Truthfully, they're a game over 500 in the SEC. People in their minds already are eliminating them from whatever regional they're playing in. Yeah, they're the same people that eliminated them from whatever regional they were going to play in 2022. And look, if they get eliminated from a regional this year, you can point and say, "I told you so." But you don't know. You really do not know. You think you know because you're watching what you've seen in these last few months. And it's legitimate to think that you know that. But in this game, you really don't ever know. And nothing ever told me that
Is
before.
baseball
like 2021 and 2022.
Between baseball,
Baseball's so
basketball,
mental,
and
man.
football, which one do you say has not the best team winning the national championship every year? It's baseball, right?
It's baseball.
Yeah, it's definitely baseball.
There is no way that Ole Miss team in 2022 was the best team in the country. They got hot at the right time. And that's to their credit. That's not an insult to them. They won the tournament. You had to win the tournament as the last team in. There's no last team in is winning the NCAA March Madness. No last team in is winning the college
James
football
Madison
championship.
wasn't winning the.
No, of course
No,
not.
I doubt it. Yeah, guys, and I think that's too because not only it's a series-based sport, but then you have when you get to the Big Dance. It's more of the the double elimination thing. So yeah, I mean it's I think that's part of it too. But yeah, and then Ole Miss got hot, and then the Mississippi State team similar, right, Phil? Was that the year before or the year after? I can't remember. It was
Mississippi
very
State was
similar.
2021. They were a really good team. They got a little lucky because remember that was the year that North Carolina State was eliminated by not having enough available players because of COVID protocol. And they were supposed to play Mississippi State in the semifinals. That was 2021. Yes, we were doing that then.
Man, I just try to forget those years, Phil. 2020, 2021, it was hard to watch sports in general.
But it's last year. You could look at LSU and say they were the best team going in, and they probably were. The year that they had Skeens, they were the best team. They won the national title. But it doesn't always happen that way in this game.
No, and then you look at them this year. I mean, you talk about a crapshoot. Because they used a lot. They lost a lot from last year's team, and then they went out and tried to get in the portal, correct? And so, do you think that's kind of why they're struggling a bit this year? Because I think LSU's got money though, so it ain't like they ain't got talent there. I just don't.
Well,
think
there's
it's
talk
working.
that they're not financially exactly where they were the year before. Remember, I mean, the House settlement did change some of that. Nobody refers to the House settlement anymore. It's all about NIL, but that's still part of the package of how athletes get paid. And I think that the House settlement changed in some schools the way that they're going to fund payments to players depending upon women's basketball, men's basketball, football, of course, getting the big lump sum, and then baseball. And a lot of times the fight between, it's not a fight, but maybe it is, between baseball and women's basketball.
All those
in a school
coaches,
like
man.
LSU, where you have two programs that have national, real national cachet coast to coast, one team gets something, the other team loses something in that case. So I'm not sure if LSU quite has the same money. And I think it's the same situation with baseball at Arkansas this year. I think that there was a little change in how things were funded to the team, and I don't know if they had the same amount of money from the year before. Would that be the same next year? I don't know. It's a matter of, I think in some cases, some of the programs on college campuses do have to find their own donors. They can select what team they're donating to, and then you go from there. So this could end up being a blip on the radar for LSU and maybe Arkansas in terms of the funding, but in the future, you got to have your sustaining donations, right? That's why we talked about tennis yesterday. It's not about reviving tennis for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It's about doing something that sustains. And I think it's a little more difficult to
Y'all have a good weekend, though.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Thank you. LSU, they lost a lot from last year, and so did Arkansas. And the Hogs are in a much better position than the Tigers are this year. It's too bad that Arkansas doesn't get them this year. But you heard what we played it on the show. Jay Johnson talked about it. The main reason is that they got guys that came in that, to me, doesn't sound like they're coachable. That's not what he said, but he did say that without saying it. Is that they're not putting forth the same effort into putting together really quality at bats that the guys that were with him the year before are doing. That's what that was about. So I think they found the wrong players in the portal. He admitted it. It was a matter that they're not coachable. 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Matt, Dustin in Ozark said that he had reindeer on an Alaskan cruise, and he recommends it. I got to ask him what cut. What cut did you have?
I could do reindeer over pony. Kangaroo. I don't know if I'd want kangaroo. You know, you think of each country or continent, wherever you are, people eat. I mean, if it's got a heartbeat, you can clean it up and find a way to chow it down. I would eat reindeer. Yeah.
I might eat.
I love lamb. Lamb is some
kangaroo.
of my favorites. Man, go somewhere and eat a nice piece of lamb with some potatoes. Ooh, some type of green with you, like some Brussels sprouts or something. Ooh.
I just have a weird idea. It's like, how do you eat reindeer? Is it a steak? Is it chopped? Is it shredded reindeer? Is it pulled reindeer? I just don't like how these words work together. Pulled pork works a lot better than pulled reindeer, doesn't it? Pulled deer? Is it venison if it's reindeer? Is it the same? It's different. Help me out. All right, we'll break here in halftime. After I tell you about NARMC, the second largest employer in Harrison with over 700 employees, over $50 million in annual salaries in the community. featuring a strategic partnership with UAMS Stroke Program, through which NARMC has become one of the most award-winning programs for quality of stroke care. You can learn more about North Arkansas Regional Medical Center at NARMC.com. Neil Atkinson from Bet Sarazen joins halftime right after this break.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years.
The game begins in the spring, when everything else begins again. Blossoms in the sun, filling the afternoons and evenings. And then just when the day
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 cents with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo Dusted Crispy Chicken Nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good feet, good life.
Baby's in the running around,
honey, putting your business in the street, talking out loud, saying you bought us this and that. How much you done spent? I swear she must believe it's all hell to say.
Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Neil Atkinson joining us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, Senior Director of Gaming Operations for Saracen Casino and Bet Saracen. Happy May, Neil. April was a busy month. What you guys got on tap for May?
Well, May's just going to continue it. You know, the NBA playoffs this year have just been incredible. Getting more games this year, a few surprises in some of the series. And, of course, NHL hockey viewership is breaking records for the NHL hockey playoffs. And, of course, here regionally, we've got a lot of people that are tuned in to Arkansas softball and Arkansas baseball. Last weekend series for Arkansas softball. Bet Saracen's the only place that got the lines there. And, of course, the big series, which I know you're getting ready for later on today, against Ole Miss this weekend. And as we know, and as you've discussed a lot, I'm sure, is how important the next 2 series are, and maybe the outside chance of maybe scoring a regional at home, but anyway, just to solidify their position in the playoffs, and of course, as a bookmaker, I do want us in the playoffs, so more games and more interest is always good, especially when you're Arkansas's primary book for Arkansas sports.
Yeah, softball's interesting because it's really growing in popularity, and that is interesting. Bet Saracen's the only place that you can get a line on that. I found we even see people online asking for radio broadcasts for the softball team. I don't know if they'd ever.
Yeah.
There's some schools that do it too. Is it really that popular on Bet Saracen, especially right now because the tournament's coming up? I think in 3 weeks.
Well, I mean, we're a little bit of an outlier because, you know, during the regular season, because we do all of these lines ourselves, and frankly, there's not a lot of interest in betting softball until we get to this time of the year. Matter of fact, we got, I review the customer service contacts that we have each day, you know, and it kind of it can give you the pulse of what customers are looking for, and we had, you know, people asking for more softball markets other than Arkansas. And, of course, next week when we go into the SEC tournament, we are going to put a line on every one of the SEC tournament games. And then once we get to the Women's Softball College World Series, we are going to manage all of those games. We're begging the data providers to pick it up, but a little bit of it is friction from the NCAA. They don't want to provide official data. And, interest in college baseball and college softball especially is regional. And with the SEC's, you know, let's face it, the SEC has dominance in college softball for the most part. And if you got states like Alabama and Georgia, South Carolina that don't have sports betting, and Texas doesn't have it either, and Oklahoma, Missouri has it. They're the last one to come on with it. Of course, Arkansas's had it retail and sportsbook for about 5 years now. Louisiana has it. Tennessee has it. So as we get more sports states to go online with sportsbooks, we may get that interest. But then again, we're fighting, increased regulation on college prop bets and things of that nature. Not fighting it. There needs to be some restrictions on it, but taking it totally away is like an ostrich burying their head into the sand on things like that. So, but softball, we do a really good job with it. We don't do any props. We just do all the scoring props, and with streaming and TV. Hey, if you've ever watched some of these SEC softball games out there, I mean, those girls out there, they're competitors and they are athletes. I would not want to be standing behind the plate with some of those balls, those fast pitch underhanded balls that they throw at you. It's something else.
Got 4 NBA games in the playoffs today, a couple of NBA specials that you could look at as well at betsaracen.com. Are the postseasons more popular with bettors, independent of the sport. NBA playoffs more popular than the regular season, NFL playoffs, so on and so forth. And of course, when it comes to the NCAA tournament, if we're talking about expansion of the tournament, what would be the casino's position on that?
Now, I've got two positions on it. I have a fan perspective and I have a business bookmaker perspective. I love it because it's just more games and more, let me say, more relevant games. Nothing against the NIT and the college basketball crown, but if we get more teams in there, and of course, all you're going to do is just move the bubble conversation down, that many more teams. But I think having that, with how much engagement that we had, on what we call the first four, the two games on Tuesday and Wednesday, I mean, it's a lot of action. People are ready for that tournament to start. They're filling out their brackets during that time. They sort of get a freebie on their brackets because, the brackets usually are not locked in until, the field of 64 is finally set. But, I'm all for it. Now, as a traditionalist, hey, this NCAA tournament's been pretty good. Don't mess with it too much. But I guess with technology and now that we have TV and all the streaming sources, they can put more games on TV and do it at more venues. And somebody's got to cover the cost of these NIL and these collectives and these TV deals. So I think it's just part of the economics of college sports now about them expanding it. And I think the tournaments like the NIT and the college basketball crown, is going to make it more challenging for them. So it's probably a business decision, and just the public's demanding it.
Cardinals start a big series tonight against the Dodgers. Dodgers are favored 1.5 runs, -175 on the money line. Cardinals have been better than anybody expected right now, Neil. I wonder if that's kind of because it's a Cardinal state, especially in I know Northwest Arkansas got a lot of Royals fans, but this is still a Cardinal state. Has that been reflected in Bet Saracen?
Oh yeah, I mean I look at the list and I see where the most number of tickets come in and where the money, because you can have a high roller outlayer putting a big money on a game and it makes it look like that game's more popular. But the really telling one is how many tickets and how many parlays people put in the games. And the Cardinals are extremely popular. You go when we research the maps, when we're going to look at personalization and sending out marketing stuff to people, and we know that the Cardinals are have this state. Now, Arkansas is a little bit different because we don't have a professional team in the state. You see a little bit of a blip with the Seattle Seahawks with like the Travelers affiliation. And of course we see, Northwest Arkansas, of course, with the Royals. And then we see a lot of Texas Rangers and Houston Astros action too. But then of course you've always got the Atlanta Braves, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. I mean, they're always going to hit your list of the most bet teams. But yeah, I mean it's college. I mean baseball. As we get fewer and fewer games, next week of the NBA playoffs, we have fewer games each night. So baseball really takes front center stage, and if Arkansas baseball and ML baseball are peaking at the same time, it's usually a good thing for the volume on the books. Not necessarily on a win-loss, depending on how the teams do, but it's really good on the volume on the books, and that's how we grade ourselves.
I always bring this kind of stuff up with you, Neil, and it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it does need to be at least brought up and discussed. You always will say, have fun, bet to your head, not over it. The 1-800-GAMBLER website and everything, and there's been a lot of talk throughout the last few years about athletes gambling, but this is the first time I remember an athlete, certainly a college athlete, checking himself into rehab voluntarily. The Brandon Sorsby situation over at Texas Tech, and it's just man, I mean, that just really kind of hit home a little bit. It's a kid who I think they're allowed to gamble on professional sports. That's something that the NCAA said, I think, a few months ago. But he does have the instance of betting on a team he played for as a redshirt freshman. But it's just, I don't know where to go with it. It's just, man, this is the first time I remember that happening. And you think to yourself, you gotta put the phone down, but he just couldn't.
Yeah. the good thing is the NCAA reversed itself. It passed that where if you could bet on professional, you just couldn't bet on NCAA sports. They reversed that. If it's an NCAA sport, if you're a football player, you cannot bet on any professional football. So
okay.
they reversed on that one. I was actually very, very glad at that. Now, and look, we participate in ProAbet, so we get the list from the NCAA. From the conferences. The conferences control that list, and more and more of the pro leagues are going on to it. Like, for instance, the NCAA put every referee that was doing an NCAA tournament game, they are now up in the list and things of that nature. So we have the list, and we have a way to catch this if people continue to do it. Education is a huge part of it, and with the access that you do have to sports books now, some states are only 18, and luckily, I think Kentucky just moved theirs from 18 to 21, which I endorse. 21 and up, and that will get a lot of the college kids out to where they're not eligible to do it. And education and education amongst the players is huge. We're all big baseball fans. We all know what happened. Early in the century with the White Sox, and I think in every clubhouse in baseball there's a saying that says "Thou shalt not bet on baseball," and it's just got to be a part of the education because they're in the public eye. Their technology is out there, and things like we use like ProAbet and to detect prohibited bettors. That's the way we're going to be able to police it and do it, and that's why it's really important to have a very good regulatory framework. So we can do all of this. If sports betting is in 5 different places under 5 different regulatory schemes, it's going to be very, very difficult to monitor, and you're going to see more of this, I'm afraid of.
Neil, I appreciate you going in on that. It is something that has to be discussed. So
yeah.
But this is obviously Bet Saracen's incredibly popular, and I think you guys are doing it the right way, and we always appreciate you coming on and discussing, in some cases, the good and the bad of legal sports betting. But you always do point out that the idea that now these things are being caught, the regulatory framework, that to me makes a lot of sense.
Yep, and unfortunately we have a few things happening right now that are outside of it. There's court cases, there's policy to be done, and I just hope they come to the right conclusion. And you're not going to get rid of sports betting. You're not. I'm sorry. It's part of our culture now. It always has been, but now that it's out in the open, we just got to use the tools and the information and the technology we have to keep it where it needs to be. And that's easier said than done. And I mean that goes all the way from responsible gambling, responsible marketing, and being an amount of advertising that you do and exposure out there. There needs to be some checks and balances on that, and I think some of us do a better job than others on that. But but competition is good, and it makes us better as far as the technology goes. So, and technology to detect this stuff is part of it, and that's a good thing.
Thanks, Neil. We'll talk again next week. I always appreciate you, man.
All right, good luck, everybody. And like Phil said, bet with your head and not over it, and good luck on your parlays. And when you're on the Bet Saracen, check out the promo tab. A lot of nice promotions out there for you to take advantage of, and we'll see you next week.
Bet Saracen works on your iPhone. Just download from the App Store. If you got an Android, go to Google Play. BetSaracen.com on any web browser. And, of course, you got to be within the state of Arkansas to use Bet Saracen. Home stretch of the Golden Hour. And you can join us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
You need money. All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
This is halftime.
Superstars Joe Klein and Pat Bradley for Arkansas's #1 sports act, Bet Saracen.
Joe, you know the main difference between Bet Saracen and those other guys?
Definitely easier to navigate. Always good parlays. Plus lots of fun choices, like ping pong, right there on the app.
But the real difference are those special promos.
Get $250 on us with your first $25 wager.
Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER.
Checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-433-8909. 800-433-8909. Again, that's 800-433-8909.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Yes, I hope sound from way down. On stuff now that it's low down.
Enjoy the music you hear on Halftime. Of course you do. Our Halftime playlist is brought to you by Bath Makeover of Arkansas. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is a local Arkansas business installing American-made bathtubs, showers, and walk-in tubs, and is the state's largest bathroom remodeler. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is also the official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Schedule your free design consultation by calling 1-800-NEW-BATH, and they'll lock in your price for 1 year. That's 1-800-NEWBATH and you can check them out online at bathmakeoverar.com. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Good luck to Razorback tennis today. They've got their NCAA tournament match against Cornell in Fort Worth, Texas. It's coming up in only 20 minutes. And literally, Matt, that program is fighting for its life. I remember there was a baseball program, Division III in Wisconsin. I can't remember the exact school, that they were going to have their baseball team cut. They were informed about that, I think it was just before the start of the Division III tournament, and that team almost won the national championship. I don't think you'd expect for Arkansas tennis to, do something like that. But hey, go out on a note that nobody expects. I'm not sure what to expect from it because I've never watched a single Arkansas tennis match, but I do know that today could be the last one.
Let's go tennis. Yeah, there was a coach, I think it was 2 NCAA tournaments ago, that he got fired before his conference tournament, but he was able to stay, and then they ended up winning their conference tournament and made the big dance or so and still got fired. But, yeah, man, coaching and being in sport, change is inevitable.
Well, change to the point of not having the sport anymore. I'm not sure if anybody thought that was inevitable, but that is a massive change. Anyway, just wanted to mention that because it's been a big topic all week long is tennis, and they're actually playing today, and it's in the NCAA tournament, and we're all rooting for them. Make this last as long as you possibly can make it last. Otherwise, Doug didn't want me to bring up the Cardinals after No, he didn't want to bring up the Cardinals. There you go. He didn't want to bring it up after the 4-game sweep. Skeens is 0-5 against St. Louis. Wow. You must love that too, Doug, because you're a Razorback fan and a Cardinals fan. You realize how difficult it is for me to be all about Paul Skeens while he came from LSU and won a national title there? It's the same as with Kate Anderson. I told you about him yesterday. I mean, I'm a Travelers fan. I go to Travelers games in Little Rock when the baseball season's over, and I sit there and I root for the Travelers. But Kate Anderson, the ace of LSU last year, for me, the number one reason why Arkansas did not win a national championship is the ace lefty for the Travelers. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to root against him. I mean, I'm sure he's a great guy, but I can't get past that part. So I'm slowly getting past the Skeens and LSU thing. I still am not quite past the idea that I may actually still be a Pirates fan because they're better than I thought they would be. But thank you for that very much. Yeah, I know Skeens didn't pitch in all those games, BE, but he pitched in – it's funny, too, because the 2 games that he pitched against the Razorbacks that year, Arkansas won. But and I don't even think he pitched in the championship series that year. He pitched in the game to get them there. So it wasn't all Skeens. It was Dylan Cruz, too. And you remember the whole debate, Matt, who do you take, first or second? You're going to have 2 teammates, 2 teammates that go first and second that are going to be 1 and 2 in the Golden Spikes. And it was, I thought it was obvious who you take. You take the pitcher, not the position player, because you just never quite know about the position players. And Dylan Cruz is a .211 hitter in 116 Major League games. He's hitting for a little bit more power right now, so maybe it'll come through. But Skeens already has the Rookie of the Year and a Cy Young, and Dylan Cruz has been up and down from AAA. That just shows you baseball stuff.
Do the Pirates try to sign him to a 10-year deal? If you're Skeens, would you do that? They just signed their shortstop, right, to a 10-year deal? Or 9-year deal, I think.
I don't think they would do it. I don't think he would do it. I think they'd do it if they could. But that's
Skeens a Dodger or a Yankee?
I think he'll be a Dodger. He's from there. He's from.
I thought he wanted to play Libby Dunn. I thought he's an Angels fan. Is that?
Well, I think he is an Angels fan, but you're not. I don't think he signed with the Angels. No, I think he ends up going to the Dodgers. I really do. That's the glamour team. I don't know what Trout is still doing with the Angels. I hate that he plays for him still. No, I don't know what he's doing with them. Ohtani went somewhere else. He re-signed. You talk about change is inevitable. I don't know if it's inevitable for the guy that I thought was going to be the next Mickey Mantle, and still might be. He still kind of has some of those numbers, Mike Trout, but change.
Got to win a championship, right?
You got to win a playoff game. I don't think he's ever won a playoff game.
So he's more Donnie Baseball. He's more Don Mattingly than Mickey Mantle.
Yes. Very much so. Hey, Mattingly, I wonder how he takes this, because I think he was reluctant to take that Phillies interim managerial job. I read about this 3 days ago, and I'd forgotten to bring it up. So the Red Sox fire Cora. Cora had worked for Dave Dombrowski when he managed the Red Sox to the 2018 World Championship, the World Championship that Benny was part of. So they make that change, and then Dombrowski tried to hire Cora for the Phillies. Now, I think he did that before before he fired Rob Thompson. He'd already made up his mind. He wanted a new manager, and he wanted the guy that took his Red Sox to the World Series in 2018, and Cora refused. He didn't want the job. I think he was happy to take his ball and go home for the rest of the season and to leave an organization in the Red Sox that sounds like a bit of a dysfunctional place. But that's odd, because I'd never really heard of a situation where a sitting major league manager gets fired, and then the very next day, another team in the majors wants to hire him right then and there. It's usually during the offseason. So that just felt quite different. Chris asked, are Dunn and Skeens Morgan Wallen fans? Didn't they meet at a Morgan Wallen concert at Ole Miss?
Oh, cool.
Isn't that just a lovely story? No, it was in Oxford.
They were in Oxford, yeah.
I think it was in Oxford. That's where they met. That's where they met. That's just all these years later. I've got friends that went back to St. Louis because they got married there 30 years ago, and they went back and they took all the photos and everything. But it was over there by the Arch. You're gonna go to a Morgan Wallen concert in 30 years. It's like, I don't think you really want to go watch. Do you ever see any shots from David Lee Roth singing Panama these days? Morgan Wallen singing whatever it is he sings in 30 years. Maybe celebrate your 30th anniversary after somewhere else. Then again, who makes it to 30 years anymore, Matt, right?
Who makes it to 30? That's right.
Arkansas is also the 29th most hated state.
See, we couldn't even make it to 30. We're the 29th. Yeah.
That's right. This was I saw this this was a survey done by the World Population Review. 3 factors went into it. How many residents in the state say that their state is the worst to live, whether the population numbers are shrinking, and what the citizens of your neighboring state say about you.
Don't care what anybody else says, but what's all this inside hate though? Why is all these Arkansans so mad about it? That's weird.
Well, here's what I wonder. Illinois residents hate their state, and that also means so do Indiana.
They have a lot higher taxes
Wisconsin.
than us. Yeah.
Well, that may be one reason why. California was the 5th most hated state in the country. I guess you'd put this the state that enjoys their state the most. Take a guess,
Hawaii.
Matt. I thought it was going to be Hawaii, too. Hawaii isn't even close. Hawaii is the 17th most hated state in the country. What is wrong with those Hawaiians?
Lies.
That's such
Don't
a
trust
lovely
the
place.
Rainbows. Lies.
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. They let you smoke. They let you have your guns, and they have no state income tax. That's the best. Colorado's one of the best states in the country. No question about it.
In order, the states that are the least hated by their own people and by those who live around neighboring those states, was Colorado's number 1, Utah is number 2, Montana number 3, and Idaho number 4. These are sparsely populated states with a lot of square mileage. You know what that tells me, Matt? People just want to be left alone.
People are the worst. I'll never understand people. That's right. That's a Jerry Seinfeld. That's a Jerry Seinfeld quote.
That's right. 877-377-6963 if you want to touch on your most hated state in the nation. Also want to tell you about our guests next week. We always have on Mondays. Connor O'Gara will be joining us every other Monday. We've got on Monday Mike Irwin, Pig Trail Nation. Tuesday, Hall of Famer, Emmy Award winner Clay Henry will join. Also Bill King, Alyssa Orange. Our weekly guests brought to you by our friends at Swift's Jewelry, downtown Fayetteville, right next to Hugo's on Block Avenue. Pop in the question, celebrating an anniversary or looking for something special, Swift's is the place to go. They specialize in custom jewelry, engagement rings, expert watch repair, and you can learn more at swiftsjewelry.com or just stop by and see them in person in Fayetteville on the town square where they have been since 1956. Swift's Jewelry, celebrating life's biggest moments. We'll wrap up halftime for the week after this.
Hogs out of there with a rebound. Acom lobs to Richmond and a 2-hand jam.
This is halftime.
Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, not when you work with Tara Limbird and the Limbird Real Estate Group. With over $1 billion in real estate sold, Tara's team knows how to make the process simple, successful, and even enjoyable. They can provide you with a cash offer in 72 hours, or you can use Tara's high-octane marketing and sell your home for thousands over asking. When it's time to buy or sell, trust the team that delivers results. Go to LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
I've got a confession to make. I'm on my phone way too much, and most of the time, it's a waste. Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Janmark gas stations and convenience stores. There are some apps that are worth your time, such as the Janmark Rewards app. It includes top deals, the latest promotions, plus rewards that keep you coming back. Anytime I stop by the pump or register, my loyalty number is being utilized. Keeping up with my points and offers is easy. Download the Janmark Rewards app today in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Janmark, the leading gas station and convenience stores in Arkansas.
Dental emergencies do not wait, and neither should you. At Valley Urgent Dental, they're here for you on the weekends, whether it's a broken tooth, a painful infection, or a crown that's come loose. Dr. Kendall Roberts and Dr. Doug Terry are ready to help. Why wait till Monday? Call 479-235-5655 now. Valley Urgent Dental is located at 5505 Uper Lane behind Golden Corral in Fort Smith. Valley Urgent Dental, emergency dental care when you need it most.
Looking for a career with a company built to last? At Forsgren, we've been shaping the future of the River Valley since 1936. Nearly 90 years of excellence, innovation, and family-driven leadership. From sidewalks that still stand today to major infrastructure projects across the region, our legacy is built on quality and community. Apply now at GoForsgren.com. Join the Forsgren legacy, where your work becomes part of something lasting. Forsgren, building the foundation of the River Valley for 4 generations. Apply now at GoForsgren.com.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could beat lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Brace yourself. May Mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years.
Passed me by. Country I was brought up in fell apart and died. Oh no, love's no longer there. Blew away the sun that used to warm the air.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Matt, you had a great playlist today. Was I listening to Chicago there?
Chicago with Lowdown, and then we had the Black Crows with Lowdown, and then we started this hour with Boz Skaggs with Lowdown. So we're just
And they
trying to find the
sounded like three totally different songs. I love it. That's great. That's great. Oh man, our halftime playlist every day brought to you by Bath Makeover of Arkansas. It's a local Arkansas business that installs American-made bathtubs, showers, and walk-in tubs. Bath Makeover is the state's largest bathroom remodeler. Tub-to-shower conversion is the popular choice for easier access. You can get expert installation in as little as 1 day. And in May, they're looking for 30 homes to participate in a Spring Into Savings event. Again, you'll get half off installation of a new bathtub or shower, 0% interest financing, $200 gas card with your purchase, and a $50 Walmart gift card with your in-home estimate. Bath Makeover, AR.com, 1-800-NEW-BATH, 1-800-NEWBATH. All right, Matt, we got big baseball games coming up this weekend. A lot of NBA playoffs as well. Is there Champions League this weekend too?
Tuesday,
Or is that just
Wednesday.
Tuesday and
Liverpool
Wednesday?
plays Sunday. Man United play today. I'm going to the DMV this afternoon, and I'm cleaning out the garage Saturday. So it's good to have a plan.
Man, good. You'll spend about what, 3-4 hours at the DMV just waiting for your number to be called? Is that about right?
I don't have enough juice for the DMV, but yep, you got to do it.
Arkansas is not the most hated state in its area, though. Texas is more hated. So is Tennessee. I think we knew that for a fact. Absolutely. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Well, it's fun stuff this week, guys. We'll see how the mood is depending on how the Arkansas-Ole Miss series goes. Good luck to Arkansas tennis. Again, that's about 5 minutes away. I don't know what you call the start of a tennis match. It's not kickoff. It's not tip-off. It's not first pitch. First serve. Is that what you go with? First serve, 2 o'clock? Good luck to tennis. Ruskin and Zach are coming up in just a few moments. The Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is also available for you thanks to the one and only Unit. We'll have all of our interviews. Aaron Torres, AI Aaron Torres, also James Teague, and Neil Atkinson, and anything else that Unit wants to throw in there. Unit, you're going to love the Dirty Dozen. Can't wait to see what Christian, the Unit, Siskel, and Ebert thinks about it on Monday. And we'll see you then. So for Matt and Christian, I'm Phil. Have a great weekend, and go Hogs, and have a Friday.